Good evening, race fans. Hello and welcome to V8 Online's live and exclusive coverage of the V8 Supercar Online Premiere Series, presented by Get Dirty MX, TrakRacer and Oceanic Sim Racing. Live and in from a famous circuit, we are of course at Sydney's Oran Park. I'm Leo Gray, and joining me here at this wonderful venue, we've got Clayton Brooks and JD Smith back with us today here, and it's going to be a ripper of a race at a favourite for everyone. What are we looking forward to tonight, guys?
Yeah, Leo, thanks for the introduction, mate. I'm just looking forward to racing at this track. Plenty of history surrounding this track. It's going to be tough for them, so and this dev series, I mean, it always throws up good racing, so really keen for the guys to get into it.
Yeah, I agree 100% there. I believe one thing is it's going to be amazing, the pure talent on a small track like we're going to see tonight. Everybody knows about the history of this place. It is just obviously a lot of the drivers love this place. Some either love it or you hate it. But what's going to happen tonight with these guys? We're getting ready to get started already. So without further ado, we're getting ready to go down and talk about the grid. But I'm really excited. We saw these guys race at Oran Park just a few weeks ago in the America Series. Was very, very impressed. Can't wait to see the series get going right now.
That's right. Going to be a bit of a night by the looks of things, just due to other occupations and the like, but it's Michael Barron who's got pole position for the development series race, and we are getting ready to go racing at Oran Park. The lights are going to be up. There's going to be a big dash into turn one. Out a bit further back in the pack, 3 wide already with Will Dodd in there. Looks like Barron's going to hold the lead into turn 1. There's a car off in the grass, 3 wide into turn 2. Somehow everybody seems to make it through in one piece.
Man, right, guys, all Chris Brooks, Matt Morris, all in 3 wide coming through turns. It's very congested right now. Everybody's trying to find a spot, maybe get single file, get things worked out here in a hurry. But guys, this is a time you can really make some moves.
Yeah, very difficult to run side by side through the first part of the lap, and especially when you get across over the bridge. It's really a single file racetrack, Oran. Very, very tricky to run side by side just due to the tight nature, but the boys are doing a fantastic job to keep it all in the black stuff, and it looks like we're pretty clean so far.
Yeah, very clean so far, guys. One thing that's very important about Oran Park is you have to take well advantage of your track position. This is a very difficult track to make passes on right now. Got a little bit of a battle working up near towards the front. Actually going to go side by side. It's Tim Altus, and right now Chris Cox-head makes a good move around him for the position. Very nice pass.
To think about it, look back into turn 2. He had a bit of a sideways moment exiting that final turn, but there's a big pack of cars that are sort of bunched up behind that second position there. It leads all the way back down to really you can go to the back half of the top 10, probably about 11th place. Henry King back there, and these guys are all line astern with Michael Barron still out in the lead.
There's some movers and shakers on that first made 4 positions up into 11th position. Matt Morris, he's up into 10th from 12th position. Guys have capitalised a little bit on this opening lap.
Now, Chris Cox-head is looking racy up the front. He took 2nd position from Tim Foltz just a lap ago, and he got right up on the back of Michael Barron just in that one lap, and they're going to cross the line for another lap down. Lap 3 out of the 30-lap race here at Sydney's Oran Park.
Guys, keep your eyes on Chris Cox-head right now. And right now, the number 08 car looking fantastic. He has caught his way right up to the rear bumper of Michael Barron up in the lead. Look for him to be making a move for the lead real quick.
And you see a lot of dicing behind that, though, but still attention up the front because Cox-head, he's putting a lot of pressure on for the lead. Michael Barron's had it, but Cox-head is currently the fastest man on track. Just behind that, you've got to fight for 4th position. It looks like David Baxter is going to come under pressure from Matt Yaumans. Graham Filant in there as well. That's a nice 3-car fight that's forming up. And for the lead, side by side, Cox-head takes it.
Yeah, good move right there by Chris Cox-head, boys. Saw a little bit of daylight, made the move, had the confidence. The momentum was just enough. He made the pass very cleanly.
Yeah, he's certainly showing his intention right from the start, Chris. He's starting pole position, got past Tim Foltz with little ado, and then straight past Michael Barron. Looks like he's got plenty of speed on board of that coveralls.
He looks really good, guys. Once he took the lead, he's already worked himself up to a nice-sized lead in front of Michael Barron. In fact, Michael Barron now has some company with Tim behind him.
Yeah, it has been an angry pack there. Those top six have remained in much of a group. It's Cox-head that has managed to cut through and seems to be pulling out a little bit of a lead, probably the biggest lead that anyone's seen in the short span of the race so far. It seems like the nature of this circuit, Oran Park, there's sort of stick together. See another pack down from about, I think that's 13th place, Chris Hogan, Lewis Hutchinson, Henry King and Brad Matheson. That's 4 cars that are all running line astern, and there's action aplenty everywhere on this tight little circuit.
Man, there's so much can happen so fast here at this track. You just got to keep your eyes peeled. There's tons of action all around this track.
They've got Dave pressure to the back of Tim Foltz's GTI Falcon. He has a little look down into turn 1. Thinks better of it. Tim Foltz got a few battle scars there from the opening laps down the road.
Boys, Chris Hogan looking to get a little bit of racy up here with Brenton O'Brien. Now this is the battle for 12th place. Right behind them, side-by-side racing. That is between Henry King and Lewis Hutchinson. Good racing going on. We got a pack of 4 cars battling for position 12.
You can find the same sort of action. Doesn't matter where you look in the pack. Able to get up nice and close, but making a pass is a very difficult thing to do. But the drivers seem to be able to come back and defend. It's making for some fantastic racing. On O'Brien back there, and King and Hutchinson are there to keep them honest at the same time. If one slips up or if the door opens, losing one position, you're in a.
Sorry, boys.
What do you see, JD?
Sorry, boys. David Baxter got a little bit loose coming out of the final turn here at Oran Park. He's trying to catch up to Tim Foltz up here in the top 3. Wants to get that podium spot. Quickly, David Baxter in the 031 car. Look for him. Here he comes down on the inside, going to try to make a move, guys. Can he have the momentum? I don't know, because he's going to be forced to the outside on this turn, and that should stick him right back behind Tim Foltz. Good job. Looks like he's having some grip issues, guys. I don't know if it's because he's trying to get a little bit aggressive, getting on the accelerator. He's getting some rear wheel spin. Excuse me, can't even talk. He's right there on him, trying to make a good battle for third here, guys.
With Oran Park, you've got no space to breathe. You have a look, and he's trying to make a move on Tim Foltz, but right behind him, you've got Matt Yeomans there. If Baxter makes any of the slides, lose a spot to Yeomans.
Yeah, Yeomans has shown plenty of pace through this series so far, so he'll be ready to pounce. Baxter's just going to have to be a little bit cautious. 30 laps in this race. It's quite a long race for the guys, so he's be a little bit try and pick his way through Tim Foltz when he can.
Yeah, should mention the Run Development Series race. Working lap number 7 out of 30 here at Sydney's Oran Park. We're hearing that there may be the potential for a pit stop. Drivers.
Foltz is off. Sorry to butt in there, Leo. Look, Tim Foltz dropped the right-hand wheels into the dirt and was unable to pull it up for turn 2, and he's dropped a huge amount of spots.
Exactly the sort of pressure we were talking about. Foltz has dropped all the way back into the 6th position now. Like David Baxter, he looked like he had pace. Michael Barron and Chris Cox-head still the leaders, although they haven't really streaked away. Cox has got a 1-second lead over Michael Barron, and then it's 2 seconds back to David Baxter. Very curious to see if these boys can close the gap up to the leaders.
Boys, I was just wanting to check back in on Chris Hogan doing, and has some damage on the driver's side quarter panel of his car. It looks like there's some pretty, it's not too significant, but he's definitely not where he was a minute ago, all in the pressure. He is all by himself, and I'll keep you posted to find out exactly what happened.
You can here at Oran Park. Sorry
Just
to
up
cut
in
you off,
front of
Brooksy,
them.
but Yowmans is side by side with Filand. Graham Filand going to take the position into turn 3. Yowman not going to make it easy for him, however. But beautiful move there by Graham Filand, elevating himself up into the 4th position.
Guys, Henry King looking to make a move now for Brenton O'Brien. This is a battle for 12th position, and right now Henry King has his sights on moving up into that top 12. He was in a good position a moment ago, but good defensive driving from Brenton O'Brien to stay on. It's keeping him at about a car length and a half ahead of his opponent.
Of course, we have seen Henry King be very racy in earlier rounds. He's had good success here in this development series. 13th position, probably not where he wants to be, and he's got a bit of work to go if he wants to make it up to the top 10. But that top 10, it's a pretty steady pack. You know, the top 10 cars, there's top 9, there's less than 10 seconds separating them. It's Chris Cox-head still leading from Michael Yarmans, David Baxter, and there's been a big off down at turn 2. David Baxter, Tim Foltz. There's been a number of cars that have had to lose. Baxter, they're going to be 3 wide into turn 3 with Baxter finally. And Chris Brooks there, I believe.
Also involved, guys, Graham Filand having to get on the brakes there. He's going to end up losing a spot probably right now. Of course he will. Chris Brooks going to move up ahead, so a lot of shuffling going on here.
Yeah, just caught the end of that incident, JD. It looks like somehow perhaps Filand and Baxter had it coming together. They were both off the road at turn 2, and they've dropped way back down. Filand down in 9th position, and Baxter from 7th. They were 4th and 5th just a second ago. Now what that's done is opened up the gap from 2nd back down to 3rd. It's Yowmans who currently holds the 3rd position, and Will Dodd, that rounds out the top 5. But Cox-head and Barron, those two are the quickest two. Now Cox-head still extending his lead by just a tenth on that lap, and as I say that, he runs wide at turn 2. Michael Barron is going to be putting a lot of pressure on here for this race win. Currently working 10 of 30. Now what I was going to touch on earlier is that the series officials have elected to put a bit of a fuel restriction in place. The drivers are only able to carry 45 litres into tonight's race here for the development series, hearing that may result in a pit stop. So we'll have to see how that plays out. 30 laps is certainly a long way to go, and if you can use a pit stop, that might be an easy way to make a move. Example, Henry King still hasn't found a way around Brenton O'Brien. He'll be looking for another sort of position if he can find it.
Yeah, another thing, guys, we should touch on is the race stewards for tonight have decided to go against the iRacing system of penalising people, and they're just going to manually give penalties rather than give them black flags. So the drivers have to be aware of what the stewards are saying to them over the radios, but they don't have to pull into their pit bays anymore.
Boys, Michael Barron heading down pit road.
So there we go. That's from 2nd position, exactly the sort of thing we were talking about. I want to keep an eye on that pit stop time. I'm expecting probably just a splash of fuel, but we'll see what sort of pit strategy goes on throughout all of this.
Michael Barron out of the pit stall there. A pretty decent stop from what I could tell. It looks like everything is okay for him as he gets ready to join on. This is one of the toughest exits he'll find all season long. Right in front of Graham Filand. Graham right there with him. So right after the pit stop, both drivers go into a good battle. Fun to see.
As our race leader, Chris Cox-head, he's entered the pit lane. He's obviously Michael Barron was doing.
That's going to elevate Matt Yowmans to the race lead. Yowman has got clean air, and the pit stop Barron was about an 18.6 second stop. Want to keep an eye on former race leader Chris Cox-head just to see how he compares with his pit stop. And Cox-head is down and away with a 16.7 second stop, so 2 seconds quicker. That could be enough to cover off the race lead. He's out into turn 1. And Michael Barron is still coming down the front straight.
Yeah, that's a huge margin that Chris Cox-head is able to pit stop phase of this race.
You're right, Brooksy. He's got a couple of corners over Michael Barron. I think that Barron had a very, very slow outlap. Something happened to him on that outlap, but he's just coming over the flip-flop now, and Michael Barron is barely just coming over the bridge.
Yeah, it's quite a big margin, and with around 18 laps to go in this race, Chris Cox-head more or less now will just have to maintain the pace and control that gap.
Alrighty, but of course there's still podium positions to fight for. Matt Yeomans is our current race leader. He was looking like the nearest challenger for second place, which was Michael Barron holding that down. Now with Barron's elevate Yeomans up into the second position. And then of course you had Will Dodd and David Baxter, who were also in hot contention for the final spots on the podium.
And another guy I could bring in, Tim Foltz, far behind before, so he may factor into this towards the end of the race. Get back into that podium position he had nailed down earlier in the race.
Yeah, Foltz has got Trent Thomas for company though. That looks like it is going to be a battle for position, and not far behind them is Chris Brooks. These guys are currently running 9th, 10th and 11th on the road, but as you said, once the pit stops cycle through, Foltz is actually the second driver on the road to have completed a stop. You've still got the top 7 drivers yet to make a pit stop. It's Yeomans from Dodd, Baxter, O'Brien and Hutchinson. That's the top 5. But we expect that Chris Cox-head is going to retain the lead of the race once the pit stop cycle through. Currently on lap 14 out of 30 here at Oran. And the development series, as expected, is turning it up for us once again.
I just love the strategy of it all, Leo. There's some guys running long, some guys pit as early as they can. I think Trent Thomas was one of the first to pit on a lap 6 or something. I think he came out and made a pit stop, so he'll be stretching his legs to try and get to the finish line. I just love the whole strategy of it.
And a very quick stop from Thomas, only 9.6 seconds. Compare that to race leader Chris Cox-head at a 16.7. So perhaps that could be drivers taking tyres or just taking fuel. Not sure exactly how that what brings that into play. But looking at the battle between O'Brien and Hutchinson, that's 4th and 5th on the road right now. These two guys still yet to take a stop, but they're fighting quite hard for the positions that they've got. O'Brien holding down 4th, and Lewis Hutchinson is putting big pressure on him for that position.
Boys, I was fixing to say, I've been watching Brenton O'Brien kind of at a faraway eye for quite some time. He's been in some sort of battle since the start of this race, and right now he looks very good, even on the older tires there, but he definitely has Lewis Hutchinson in the side long, and he's going to have to fight off Lewis. Lewis has been catching him in every lap, so I don't know if these guys will try to have a pit strategy or see if one goes one follow the other into the pits. It's going to be interesting to see how these guys do, because they definitely still both need to stop.
Of course, whilst this is happening, we're going to have to try and keep an eye on that fight between Tim Foltz, Trent Thomas and Chris Brooks, because that's been ebbing and flowing a little bit. The guys are getting closer and further apart as different parts of the track come and go.
Oh, big scary moment there, guys, for Lewis Hutchinson there. He had an opportunity to maybe pass on Brenton O'Brien around the final turn here. Got a little bit loose, had to get on the brakes pretty hard, and now you'll see Lewis Hutchinson head down pit road. He decides that's enough of that. Found out just how loose those tires were. Matt Yeoman still is our race leader here on lap 16, and of course he'll need to get his pit stop taken care of as well, I believe, boys.
Just checking the lap times there, JT. Yeomans isn't running fast enough to challenge Cox-head for the race lead, but he's probably looking solid for a second or third place right now if he keeps this pace up. I'm looking back at the times that Foltz, Thomas and Brooks are running, and Yarmans is definitely running quicker than that battle pack there. Of course, as those guys continue to fight, they'll just slow each other down, and Yarmans in clean air, he's looking pretty good to be able to make something happen out of all this.
Fantastic.
And of course, Yarman's 7th on the grid he started, so it'll be a superb run if he can get up there on the podium. But like you said, Leo, he's looking very good. His lap times are quite pacey. I'm sure he's best qualifying laps at the moment, and he knows what he has to do, as he has a massive slide coming over the bridge.
Yeah, that could be a sign there that those tyres are shot, and he's probably going to be looking to bring 17 out of 30, so he's run more than half the race on those boots that he's got. But clean air is what he's been using to his advantage, and we expect that he's going to come out pretty good. David Baxter, who is another one of those potential front runners, is currently in the pits. He's got a long stop on at the moment, probably fixing up a bit of damage. Seems have started to fall by the wayside, and I think that we're going to have Cox-head and Yarmans be the big winner out of this run of pit stops.
The box, he's heading back out onto the track, so we'll see how he does after his stop, see if there's any kind of adjustments made that are visible to us.
Well, the thing that I noticed going back from how the situation was before the pit stops, it was Cox-head leading from Barron and Yarmans. Barron had a very, very slow outlap, still not 100% sure what happened to him, and he's behind Foltz, Brooks and Thomas, so big loser at to be Michael Barron. Be very curious to know what's happened in all of that, but everything running to plan in regards to Cox-head and Yarmans. Of course, when you've got clean air and good pace, it makes things a little bit easier, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
I've been keeping an eye on Tim Foltz, guys. He's Brooks and Trent Thomas, who he come out of the pits behind, so he's certainly got a bit of speed on him, and he's trying to get back on that podium, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do it with Matt Yarmans. Like you said, Matt Yarmans still laying down impressive lap times.
Those times Brooks is referring to is running a 68.2 second lap, and Tim Foltz is just 0.2 of a second slower, but he's a fair way behind on the road, 44 seconds behind race leader Matt Yarmans. Yarmans, of course, still 2 pit, and a lap 19 of 30, he's definitely running long. He could be perhaps trying just to take a splash of fuel, leave the tyres, or perhaps even fuel saving. We now only have those top 3 drivers remaining to pit. That's Yarmans, Dodd and Brenton O'Brien. Chris Cox-head is in 4th position on the road. We expect he'll cycle through to the race lead. And he has got about an 8-9 second gap over Tim Foltz, who looks like he will assume perhaps 2nd or 3rd place once everything completes itself. Will Dodd is another driver we'll have to keep an eye on. He's only 5.5 seconds behind our race leader Yarmans, so he could come out right in the middle of that Foltz, Brooks and Thomas battle.
Yeah, well, the guys are going to have to round off the pit stop soon with only 10 laps remaining in the race.
Might take this bit of an opportunity to have a quick run through the field as it settles itself out through the end of the pit stops. In 15th position, Alan Meyer in the 07 car. He's running a lap down at the moment on the race leaders, but some fairly consistent lap times. 14th position is Once again, lapping consistently. Seems like he had a bit of a slow lap just the last time by. Lewis Hutchinson is in the 13th position. He was involved in a pretty racy battle in the top part of or the back half of the top 10 a bit earlier in the race, but unfortunately down a bit further. And Chris Hogan was another driver in the middle of some pretty serious battles there. Same can be said for David, position number 11. Number 031 was in contention for a serious top 5 and possibly even a podium. But track at turn 1, very tricky part. And Henry King holds down number 10, quiet achiever, but perhaps not as far up the road as we've expected from Henry in some of his earlier races here in the development series. And we move to 9th position. We find Katie Rose Taranto. Started from 20th position on the grid, so she is probably the biggest mover in the field right now. Position number 8 is Michael Barron, car number 38. Barron was actually a race leader earlier, was our pole sitter. Seems like it all fell undone after the pit stop as he dropped a lot of track position and finds himself down in position 8 right now. And Matt Yeomans, who was our race leader at the time, is in the pits. We'll come back to the rest of the field once we see how this cycles through, but Yeomans is down and away off the jack. It's a 10-second stop. And Cox-head has gone through to Cox-head leads from Yeomans, and Foltz is in position number 3. Once everything cycles through, of course.
Yeah, that's a great drive from Tim to be able to manage on corrected order, obviously, to get back in onto the podium after having a little turn too early in the race. But Yeomans has done some quite good lap times to get up to where he is. He's done the long from 7th on the grid, so terrific drive from Yeomans.
Yeah, my thoughts exactly. Did the smart bit of strategy by keeping away from all the traffic there, because I think a lot of where these guys have come undone is just really intense racing, and a bit of hip and shoulder action forced a couple of guys off the track, and it's cost him. Cox-head's kept his head clean, and Yeomans, I think, has done the same, and so these two will assume position number 1 and 2 once it all cycles. Not that far behind either. Less than 4 seconds the gap between Cox-head and Yeomans, which is pretty impressive given how long that Yeomans stayed out on track for. We've got 8 laps remaining, of course.
As we're still waiting for Brenton O'Brien to cleanse the field, so to speak, for them to make their pit stops. At the moment, Will Dodd's got a 22-second lead over Brenton O'Brien, with Chris Cox-head, our corrected leader, only 4 seconds behind Brenton.
And Will Dodd pits from the race lead. Means that Brenton O'Brien is the last piece of the puzzle to put everything together here for our finalised order. O'Brien rounding the final turn now. He's going to cross the line and lead another lap here at Oran Park. Which means our order as things stand at the moment. O'Brien from Cox-head. Yeomans. And Foltz is going to clear Will Dodd by the looks of things, but it might be pretty tight. Will Dodd has managed to claim what appears to be 3rd position from Tim Foltz. That's a brilliant. Will Dodd stayed out, made the tyres work, and he's got just a 2.5 second lead over Tim Foltz, who they're currently 4th and 5th on the road. Brenton O'Brien, our race leader, still to pit.
That's a terrific drive from Will Dodd. He's got out there in front of Tim Foltz. He's got on the fresh rubber, so he's going begging for him, but he's come from 9th on the grid, so that's a terrific drive. It's certainly making the longest stints work for him tonight, the guys.
So 7 laps remain, and Brenton O'Brien pits from the race lead. So the field is going to cleanse here. Chris Cox-head assumes the lead of the race from Matt Yeomans in 2nd position. Brenton O'Brien still in the pits, and Will Dodd streets across to take 3rd. So that's our podium. Still 6 laps remaining for this all to get itself sorted out. Tim Foltz is going to be chasing hard to get back onto that podium position. Chris Brooks and Trent Thomas have been involved in a mighty scrap for the much of the second half of the race, and by Michael Barron. So those three guys were 5th, 6th and 7th on the road. I know that Brooks and Thomas have been scrapping quite hard, and Michael Barron will be a bit disappointed to find himself down in 7th after leading earlier in the race like he did.
Yeah, Leo, it was just his pit stop that really brought him unstuck. He 20 seconds longer than most other blokes in the pits, so he'll be kicking himself for that.
Cox-head turn 1 and 2 for another time, and there is 5 laps remaining here for the series at Oran Park. Been an impressive drive from Chris Cox-head. He did look like he had a fair bit of pace earlier in the race, and he was able to make the most of it. Keeping your head clean, especially at a difficult circuit like this one, is a really, really big challenge. But clearly up to the task is Chris Cox-head, driver number 08 in the coverall Cargo Nets Falcon.
There's another battle I've been keeping on, and it's the back of the top 10, David Baxter, and been having a great little scrap. Henry King currently in 9th position, just in front of Baxter is in 10th. Of course, featuring heavy in the top 3, top 4 cars early in the race.
Absolutely he was, and Henry King, of course, a very established racer here in the development series. Just casting my eyes back to that fight with Michael Barron and Trent Thomas. That's closed up significantly as Chris Brooks has skipped away in position. With only 4 laps, chances of a top 5 are slightly for Thomas and Barron, but I think that's just going to up the ante for these two with their own individual scrap.
Foltz hasn't been able to make any onto Will Dodd for that last spot on the podium, but Chris Brooks is certainly making inroads onto Foltz's. He may grab a 4th position before the end of this race.
Absolutely, it looks as if Brooks is the fast man on track at the moment. Besides race leader Chris Cox-head, is the only man in the 107 race is making some time and gaining on 4th position man Tim Foltz. The gap currently sits just on half a second as there's 3 laps race.
Yeah, and that like last lap around, Leo, Chris 1 point quicker than Foltz over 1 lap, so he's certainly got a lot of pace on board.
That is a massive turn of speed at this late part of the race. We've seen it races here at V8 Online before in the past at Oran Park. It's turned on some really intense battles as we run through these late stages of the race. We can cast our mind back to some intense fights on the Monday night broadcast races, but we know that it's certainly not easy. But that's why we enjoy it so much, and I think we're going to see another one of those scraps between Chris Brooks and Tom Foltz. And David Baxter here in pass on Henry King, so Baxter claims 9th. But all the attention is going to be for the final step of the top 5. Tim Foltz has it, Chris Brooks wants it, and they are coming to 2 laps to go. Now, with the nature of this beautiful place, Brooksy, where do you think the move's going to happen, if it's going to happen? Because it's certainly not an easy place to get it done.
No, it's one of the hardest tracks to overtake on. Into turn 3, if you can get up there under brakes down the right-hand side on the inside, it's a good spot. But really out of the last corner. We even get the power down out of the last corner and down the straight, and just position the car on the inside. And I feel that's probably the best spot to get the move done.
And they're already over the bridge now, so there's only going to be one more opportunity at turn 3 for Chris Brooks to get the move on Tim Foltz. Cox-head, however, is crossing the start-finish line to begin his final lap of the race. Been a fantastic drive for the Cargo Coverall Nets Falcon. Led the majority of the race after a strategy, and Yeomans, of course, heading into turn 1 with a steady second position, and Will Dodd with that fantastic drive up into third. But the battle we're watching is 4th and 5th on the road. That's Tim Foltz and Chris Brooks. 1 lap left, and half a second the gap between these two drivers.
Yeah, Brooks, he's got up there behind Tim. He got up there quite quick, but it seems like he's suffering quite a bit of understeer maybe with the aero from Foltz's car. I'm just having a look at Foltz's car. Looks like he's trailing a bit of brake, a lot more than he should be, so he may be having a sticky brake problem. I'm not sure.
Or whatever it is, he's doing a good job to hold on. He ran a little bit of a defensive line into turn 3 just to cover that offensive. And there's not going to be much of an opportunity left for Trent Thomas to get the move. But Chris Cox-head is rounding the final turn. He's going to take the win. He's going to take the checkered flag, celebrates across the line in style to take out the victory at Oran Park. Fantastic. Yeomans and Dodd going to complete the podium. And it looks like Tim Foltz is going to hold on as he rounds across the flip-flop there up into the final turn. Brooks may have a fairly hefty charge under brakes, but isn't going to be able to get it done. Foltz and Brooks are going to round out the top 5.
Yeah, guys, here comes Trent Thomas coming in 6th, and Michael Barron will score in 7th. Katie Rose Taranto will come across position, and it looks like David Baxter will place.
Well, we've seen some fantastic throughout the field, and really curtain raiser for the main event that's still coming up. We're going to have another double header here at Oran Park. It's going to be a fantastic addition for the online Premiere Series. We already saw a successful run earlier in the twin races at Road Atlanta, and can't wait to bring this to Oran Park. It's going to feel just like it did many years ago back in the early 2000s at this beautiful, beautiful Sydney circuit.
Oh, absolutely, man. This place is such a wonderful place. It's just a great track for these V8 supercars. They just do wonders. You know, a lot of drivers love this track. That love it, obviously tend to do very well. And it's just one that they mark on the calendars. I know when we even started this Premier Series, it was one we were looking ahead to. And even after this Development Series race, guys, I am really looking forward to today.
Yeah, certainly. I was fortunate enough to be to watch the final race at Oran Park back, I think it was 2008. Reese could probably fill us in with his tidbits a little bit later on about the track. But fantastic track. It was a great track. You could see pretty much every corner, no matter where you stood watching the race. And unfortunately I had to leave Sydney, but it's great that we can live on in the iRacing world.
Man, that's
Absolutely
fantastic.
Now the action of continue here at V8s Online as we're going to head over to the main game here, and we're going to be in qualifying. Slightly different qualifying format for tonight's race because of course we've got this double event. It's going to be very important for guys to get a clean lap and make the most of this qualifying session, because your fastest lap in this qualifying session will determine your starting lineup for the first race. Your second fastest lap will determine your starting position in the second race. So consistency is going to be important as well. Guys want to make sure they get those times in and make sure that they are able to get more than one, because the grid's going to be set a little bit differently here tonight.
Yeah, it's a very format. It's just going to take a lot of about just nailing that one lap, but they're going to have to worry about at least getting 2 great laps in, because that second race is going to be very, very important. You know, a lot of guys that are so used to hitting that first lap and pushing, and then just out of habit, be done with it. Like, oh, I just hit my hot lap, and that's it. No, not tonight. You're going to have to hit both of those laps, and it's going to make qualifying for a spectator a lot more fun.
Absolutely. And of course, our man on the ground, Reese Gardner, is going to get right up in the thick of the action as always. And welcome to Oran Park, Reese.
I'm not doing too badly at all, guys. Oran Park, legendary Australian circuit, unfortunately no longer with us, but we do have it in laser scanned form in iRacing that they need 15 to 16 litres of fuel and they won't be taking tyres. So for the majority of drivers, I feel it will be a fuel game rather than a tyres game.
Just a little splash and go, hey? And this qualifying session, it's underway. So we'll have pictures for you very shortly. And congestion is going to be a massive, massive thing here because, of course, only 2.62 kilometres and you've currently got 36 V8 supercars crammed into this tiny little circuit. It's going to make for one exciting.
Oh yeah, certainly. This course, it has a lot of turns. It's got super high curbs. It's tight and twisty, but it's a lot shorter than it actually seems. And I always enjoy circuits like that. A lot of my favorite circuits are ones that are only about a minute long, and Oran Park is no exception. And it's certainly a handful in a V8 supercar. In this qualifying session, there's going to be a lot of congestion issues. I can predict it now.
So we've got guys maybe not taking tyres in the race. It's going to be pretty ballsy considering Oran Park is so slippery, but we're getting ahead of ourselves as the guys flying laps. Lee Ellis crossed the line first and Jared Filsell right behind him to start first fast laps.
Yeah, everybody back in the pack still looking for a bit of real estate. It's an awkward thing that they need to manage when there's so many cars on track. Ultimately, I hope that they can find a bit of a way to perhaps sort things out a little bit better, make it a bit easier to find a bit of road and not have to worry about tripping over each other. But curious to know how this session. It is going to be a 25-minute session. Maybe if you've got a clean piece of road, do you reckon you'll go through and do 2 flying laps to get that banker in? Make sure you have got 2 laps because, of course, you're going to be in big trouble if you can only set 1 fast lap and you've got zip for a second.
Yeah, it's a very interesting point you make there, Leo. It's always said it's very tight to overtake. It's a very narrow track when you're actually out there driving. There's really only one line around here, and that's a very good point because the guys might do that while they're on a fast one, just punch in 2 quick laps just to make sure they lock down their lap times for the session.
Now, the nature of this circuit, of course, it's very easy to get off laps in a hurry. First times are starting to set themselves, and the series pace setter, Richard Hampstead, goes straight to the top with a 1 minute 6.5. Phil Sell and Ellis are also up there, but of course, still a lot of drivers are yet to set a time.
Of course, we might make note, another championship contender, Madison Downs, not with us tonight, so Hampstead, Phil Sell, those sort of guys will be looking to capitalise on that.
That's definitely a big opportunity when you have a guy down, not in the race tonight. This is a big opportunity, especially for some of the guys on the track that suits their driving styles very well. Big opportunity for a driver like Richard Hampstead tonight to get in here, get a great qualifying time, get a good start on the grid, and with at least a win in one of the races. You know, maybe get at least a top 5 in both. It's just a big opportunity for him.
Now, I think that my question has been answered because those first guys to set a time, 1 flyer and straight back in for another set of boots, and away they go again. But they're going to want to make sure that they're setting those times. It looks like most everybody has been able to get a run on the board. But of course, if you have an off track, if you get into a bit of with another competitor, you're not going to actually have a time count. That's going to be a disaster if you can't get 2 quick laps on the board. But right now, after that first little run, Richard Hampstead is our provisional pole sitter with a 106, a whole 2 tenths clear of second place man Jared Filsell, Curtis Chippelli and Ian Ford rounding out the top 10.
As everyone seems to be heading straight boots. They must be confident in being able to get another clean lap in.
Guys, keeping an eye right now on Tony Ottridge. He's got right now absolutely the slowest time. I know he hadn't really hit a full flying lap yet, so I'm looking for him to see what he posts when he comes around.
Orchard is in 24th position, and there's about, I counted 34 cars in this session. Still 10 guys that didn't actually set a lap on that first run through.
Yeah, one of those guys is Bo-Catel. He's just about to start his fast lap. Of course, he had a win in the official series here only a few days ago, so he'll be one to watch tonight as well.
Also got some fast
from
guys
a bit
back
of
there. Chad Chastain, Dal Nish, Mark Warmington. There's some quick guys that have still got to set a time. They've got a lot of time left to go, 18 minutes in the session remaining. But the last thing you want is to be running out of time and not having set 2 fast laps. You need to keep in mind for tonight's format.
All that, Tony Ottridge went back in to get him some new tires.
I just mentioned Bo-Catel's one guy that hasn't been able to set a lap time yet. He's suffering from severe internet problems. He's blinking out for quite long periods, might hamper his qualifying efforts. As it has, he's just done a fast lap and the time hasn't registered, so Bo would be disappointed with that.
Absolutely. Goes on to also confirm what we were talking about. You know, you need to get a clean. Even the slightest little bit of an off, stewards deem that you've dropped a wheel off the road or made contact with another car, your fast time is not going to count. Big road there. You've got Hampstead, Parks, and Ian Ford, Bobby through as well. The guys are just going to try and keep out of his way. But being aware of the amount of cars that are on the road, the traffic around you, is such a key part of this whole big field qualifying experience. Certainly a massive test for the drivers too.
As it stands now, the top 5 hasn't changed too much. Still with Hampstead holding pole position ahead of Philsell, Chipaway, Kelly, and then Ian Ford holding 5th spot. Chastain's moved up into 6th spot. Michael Cracknell and Martin Carroll in 8th, 7th and 8th, and Brad Smith in 9th. But he's just been relegated. Tony Ortridge now there to go. JD's moved up into 5th spot.
Now we know he's got pace, and he's clearly shown it here at Oran Park. It's interesting to note that the way the grid's sort of been shuffled at the moment compared to what we've seen in recent sort of rounds. Hampstead's still the pole sitter, but there's a good mix-up between a couple of different teams in there. Of course, you've got Philsell 2nd, Chipaway in 3rd, Kelly in 4th. Kelly and Orchard are the first 2 hits up there. But good to see a great mix of drivers down there. You've got some of the SDC boys up in the top 10 as well, which is always good to see a bit of variety running through the field.
I got Tobias Tizzoni out there in the DeWalt Penske livery. Maybe things to come with Ambrose joining the Real Life Series next year.
All that just the other day as soon as it was painted, and I'll be honest, it got me real excited. Just the idea and seeing Marcus Ambrose over here in America in NASCAR with the DeWalt Stanley partnership that they had for so long with Richard Petty Motorsports, now heading over to Australia. Just the thought, but it would be really cool to see him remain with that relationship with that sponsor, even as he goes back to Australia. And that would just be amazing.
It certainly would, JD. I'm a huge Ambrose fan. Always followed his racing career, and I can't wait to see him back in one of these cars next year.
I can't either. I really am excited, and keep me posted on all the insights, because I'll constantly checking in on it over here in America.
Now, whilst all that was happening, Chad Chastain has jumped up into the second position with a 106.6 second lap. Very impressive drive there by Chad. Now, what I've been looking at, as we've mentioned before, you need 2 fast laps to set your grid. First flying lap, well, your fastest lap will determine your qualifying time for race 1, and your second fastest lap for race 2. Guys, we've got 13 minutes left in the session. Through here, there's some haven't managed to set a second time yet.
Yeah, and it's our pole sitter at the moment for the first race. Richard Hampstead, he hasn't set a time for a second race at the moment, as he just has a huge off track, so this lap won't count for him, so he's running out of time to set a race.
No, looking back through it, Hampstead's only got 1 lap quicker than a 1:10, which is quite remarkable. Chastain is he's got 2 quick ones in there, a 7.0 and a 6.6, so that's good work. But Jared Filsell's another driver. He's only set 2 timed laps in this session. Curtis Chippeway's got a pair of 106. Happy with that. As has Sean Kelly. Same boat for Michael Fulcher. Tony Autridge needs another. Marty Carroll's got 2 quick ones. So loud. And so does Ian Ford. So out of the top 10, there's at least 3 or 4 drivers that maybe need to stop chasing that extra 10th and just set a time. Just set a banker, otherwise you're going to be starting way down the back in race 2.
Well, Phil Sells just managed to do that. He's just set 2 106.7s. So there's 2 banking times for him. Eye on Hampstead and make sure he can set that second banking time.
So as things stand right now, we've got 30 drivers that have set a time here in the field tonight. I think from the looks of things, it's only 2 or 3 others that are having dramas, maybe perhaps mechanical problems preventing them from getting out on track. But as things stand right now, Richard Hampstead has the provisional pole from Chad Chastain, Jared Filsell, Curtis Chippeway, Sean Kelly, Michael, Tony Autridge, Martin Carroll, Mitch McLeod, and Ian Ford. And as we expect with Oran Park, these times are remarkably close. The top 9 drivers are all in the 106 second bracket. Hampstead and Chastain probably with a bit of a gap there, but 3rd down through 5th. Very, very tight. But Ian Ford in 10th position on a 7.0. There's only 2 or 3 tenths of a second down to the top 20. So as you expect with this place, just the smallest little gap, smallest little misplacement of the car, and it could cost you big.
Yeah, Sean Kelly has just jumped up into the 3rd position with a 106.748, and Mitch McLeod into the top 10 with a 106.954.
Leaves us with 10 minutes remaining in the session, 15 minutes as we are setting the grid for round 5, the V8 Supercar Online Series. 2 races following tonight, 2 30-lap races here at Oran Park, featuring a compulsory pit stop in the second. And this is how we're going to determine the grid for our 2 races tonight. Hampstead, currently our pole sitter, but set a time to get him on the grid for race 2. Hey JD, I've been finding the ebb and flow of this series quite interesting in regards to the teams, don't you reckon, man? Like Hampstead and TTL, they've been quite dominant in terms, but great to see guys like Chastain and SDC. Sean Kelly, as I zoom in on him, he's found himself off in the grass in the TTR car, but Curtis Chipaway, great to see that car up into the top 5 in a sponsored, very interesting looking little layout there. And then Michael Fulcher in 6th place in the Kamikaze team. So great to see a whole bunch of different names and different organisations competing here in this Premier Series, don't you reckon?
Ian, it's just really great to see. It really is something that's real exciting. And a lot of these teams are really starting to step their game up. I've noticed lately the SDC team really fast on their setups. They've just been working really hard to improve the game. And a lot of other teams looking big as well. But going back to the Curtis Chipaway, that purple chicken's on the side of the car, you gotta love that.
Yeah, it's distinctive. You won't miss it on the field, will you? And that's what you want. Something noticeable. A bit of an advert for sponsors, perhaps. But we should note that Richard Hampstead has set a second flyer and has improved his marker. He's jumped his fastest lap from a 106.52 to a 106.46. Chastain had also improved. He's improved his fastest to a 106.55. So barely anything between these boys at the top. Just less than 1/100th of a second between the 2 fastest times.
Man, isn't that impressive? I mean, that's just really, really impressive when you think about it. I mean, this is just how tight the talent is up here, especially in the top 10 to 15 drivers right now in this field. Very, very competitive. Just getting me more and more on the edge of my seat. I'm ready for this one, guys.
And I think it might be a fun bit of an idea to go for a bit of a lap around this little circuit, Oran Park.
Sounds
we can
like
go
a
for
good
a bit
idea.
of a bit of an onboard ride with a driver, perhaps. I think we'll see if we can find Sam Compton. Sam is driving for SDC Motorsports and said he'd agreed to have a bit of a chat with us and take us for a bit of a tour around this lovely little circuit. And going to see if we've got Sam on the line. Have you got us, Sam?
Hey boys, how you doing?
Doing very well up here, mate. And what about yourself? Got to be enjoying racing at Oran Park.
Yes and no. I'm struggling.
Yeah, it's not the easiest of places to get around. Currently got you in 21st on the grid, still just under 6 minutes left in the session. Did you have any time to take us for a bit of a run around this lovely circuit?
Oh, I can, not to do it.
Well, anytime you're ready, I think we'll jump on board because it's an impressive circuit. I don't think that the tele does it justice from what we see, but once you get onto a flyer, we'll jump behind the driver's seat and have a bit of a spin.
Yeah, 10-4 is going to be hard to find a bit of a space here with so many cars, but see how we go.
Yeah, Sam, tell us a little bit about that. What's it going to be like with so much traffic out here on a small track like Oran Park?
Well, it's going to be nose to tail all the way, I think, JD. It's going to be really hard to pass, and if you get stuck behind slower traffic, I don't think there's going to be much you can do unless they be nice to you and let you by.
Hopefully you have more friends in the field than enemies, that's right, huh?
Yeah, well, I guess that's one of the benefits of having a pretty big team. We've got a few guys here, but I'm going to be running at the back here today, so it might be my job to let the faster guys through.
I don't know if you boys are paying attention to the development series race, but we definitely saw that the tyre wear is a bit of an effect. So keep that one in mind as you boys plan your strategy, because you know, running long might help you if you can get some clear air.
All right, let's see if we can get a lap in here. As you can see, this car's going everywhere.
To me, Sam. Just now heading up over the bridge section.
Well, you put me under pressure there, boys, and I blew just about every corner.
We do appreciate you stopping by with us, Sam. It's a hairy little circuit, but that's still a pretty tidy 108.2 that you put on for us.
Gonna have to adjust to these slippery surface that the OSR boys have thrown at us.
Yeah, but, I'd like to make it difficult for you. Well, thanks for joining us again, Sam. That's Sam Compton with SDC. We've got just under 2.5 minutes till the session's complete, and I hope you're looking forward to it, mate. And all the best from us at V8s Online.
Definitely, thanks for the broadcast.
Yeah, thanks for that, Sam. I'll bring your attention to Mark Warmington. He's got a blown engine, trying to make his way back to the pit so he can get. And currently sitting last in 32nd position. Of course, the rules with this series, guys, you've got to get it back to the pits if you want to continue on in the qualifying.
I think that he's going to be tight for time. There's 2 minutes left in the session. He's got to somehow make it back. And there goes the motor. So it's going to be heartbreak for Warmington. Definitely not a good start to his campaign here at Oran Park. But with 1 minute 50 seconds left, there's still a couple of opportunities out there for guys to improve on their time. Set a second time, and Richard Hampstead is just improving that marker considerably. He's jumped up again to a 106.40, so he's got in a 106.4, which is just a remarkable he's set.
Right now, guys, Michael Fulcher pushing in fourth right now with a 106.68 and seeing if he can gain any extra tenths here on these final seconds of qualifying.
What a drive by Fulcher, Falcon. We saw him have a great run at Donington Park, and his lap times, looking at him, are remarkably consistent, and finding himself all the way up in fourth. Those boys are going to be very happy with that result.
Yeah, certainly, Leo really stood up at Donington, didn't he? And told everyone he's take notice of me in this championship. And he's backed that up tonight with some very impressive lap times throughout qualifying and the pre-qualifying service.
Now just 40 seconds remain. There's still a number of cars out on track, hoping to just pull something out of the bag. Idea of the sort of times that we're looking for. Philsell, Fulcher, Kelly, those guys are all on 106.6, and there's just 1,000th separating Michael Fulcher from Sean Kelly. A 681 for Fulcher, a 682 for Kelly. Can't get closer than that.
I was about to say, that's as close as it gets out here, fellas. That's pretty close.
But check out 6 to 7, same situation. Curtis Chipaway and Marty Carroll. It's a 66.793 and a 794 for Marty Carroll. They say lightning doesn't strike twice, but perhaps it does. And the checkered flag is going to wave. And it looks like Richard Hampstead is going to claim not just one, but 2 pole positions here at Oran Park.
Fantastic job by Richard Hampstead to capitalize on a humongous opportunity in the series, and he knows he did exactly what he had to do, boys.
Yeah, he's certainly making hay while Madison Down's not around, but we've been seeing Hampstead do this the whole series so far. He's really laying down the challenge to anyone that wants to take it to him, and at this stage, no one's been able to do that with 1.5 attempts quicker than second place.
Oh no!
I've just got Chad Chastain
through the pole.
Look at Chad Chastain, boys.
Oh,
Not only
my
did he
goodness.
grab the pole, a 106.334, fantastic.
That's an American coming to the Australian track
You
and
better
whooping
believe it
butt
is.
there right there.
How on earth?
What a marker from Chastain. So that's going to put Chad Chastain on pole for race number 1. I called it a little bit too soon. Chastain's gone and really do it.
Boys, I have to do a little gloat here with an American, fellow American out there, buddy. That is fantastic to see right there.
And not only while he was putting that lap time down, he's managed to come on over the radio and advertise the simpit.com website, so he's done a tremendous effort.
Oh, he deserves it. Now, we're going to run through the qualifying results, and this is the Group 4 race 1. Chad Chastain, pole sitter, 106.334. Richard leading the front row. Phil Sell and Fulcher, 3rd and 4th from Kelly, Ortridge, Chipaway, Marty Carroll, Mitch McLeod, and Matthew Hill rounding out the top 10. Brooksy?
Yeah, in 11th we've got Ian Ford, followed by Ellis, Hamilton, Nigel Baines, 15th, Stenberg, 16th, Smith, Zerny, in 19th, and rounding out the top 20 is Craig Jones.
That's right, boys. Coming in at 21st, it'll be Dale Niche, Sam Compton, 22nd, Heath Brennan in 23rd, Hayden Dodman, 24th. In the 25th slot, it'll be Bob. In 26th, it'll be Dean O'Brien, Kane Kagaimia in 27th, Chris 28th, Richard Elward 29th, in 30th, Jason Dixon.
And then Todd Parks and Mark Warmington going to round out the field, 31st and 32nd. Bo Cattell also in the field here tonight, but was unable to set a time. Hopefully he'll be able to make the grid. But we are going to be set for 30 laps here to kick things off at Oran Park. Series races, anything to go by. We're going to be on for a hot contest, especially seeing Chad Chastain take the fall of Richard Hamilton.
And I do want to make
Richard Hampstead.
Quick correction, boys. I apologize to driver the number 511 car. I believe that is Kane Kajimiya. I apologize, Kane.
Yeah, he was our pole sitter for the Donington Development Series, and he had a terrific race there. Guys, tell through this, unable to settle net connections. I mentioned that he was quite quick in the official series, so he'll be one to watch throughout this field, starting from 33rd spot.
That's going to be fun to watch. All right, boys, they're revving up. Let's go racing here right now at Oran Park.
Green, green, green.
Great jump by Chastain, and look at the 3rd row. It's Fulcher who's got a big charge on, but he can't get anything. Can't get a position there because Phil Sell and Hampstead side by side into turn 1.
Yeah, right now we're going to go side by side. Richard Hampstead going to come out right in front of Jared Phil Sell. Right now, side by side, both hybrid racing simulation Fords. Right now, Tony Ottridge and Sean Kelly side by side. They will succeed. That way, they'll come into line. Now we got another side by side with Curtis Chipaway and Marty Carroll.
Marty Carroll made a huge dive from way back at turn 3 and took the position forcibly from Curtis Chipaway. Mitch McLeod trying to buy in as well. But it's going to be Chad Chastain leading as they come over the bridge, and he's got a very solid lead for just one flying lap.
Yeah, he certainly hit the ground running from his qualifying pace there. He's opened up around an 8 car length over Hampstead straight away.
And this massive train is still too wide, a bit further back in the pack.
And boys,
very impressive to see there hasn't been any major incidents so far.
Yeah, been very exciting to see that there hasn't been any major accidents. But while all this is going on in the field, right now, Chad Chastain is taking advantage of a humongous opportunity. Right now, nothing but open track in front of the Sim Pit Ford Falcon. He's out front right now, as Richard Hampstead at about a 3-car length distance behind him.
Someone's way off in the dirt there at turn 2. Someone got punted, can't quite catch who that is. I think it's Mitch McLeod.
Yeah, Mitch McLeod from 9th position, and he's gone all the way back to dead last.
That is tough break for Mitchell McLeod, guys. He was all the way up at 9th. That hurts really bad. Back to what I was saying real quick. This is a big opportunity for Chad Chastain. He's out in the lead as the rest of the field does have to fight in pretty good traffic. Now, as I say that, Richard Hampstead has kind of broken away a little bit as well. So we'll see how this pans out, but it won't be long. These boys will be in lap traffic.
And of course, guys, with the slippery service that Oran Park brings, guys going to have to look after their tyres throughout this race. They're talking about no tyres in the pit stop, maybe just a splash of fuel. To make these tyres last 30 laps on an already slippery track is going to be a big ask.
Oh, we got some... Go ahead,
Kelly
guys.
and Ortridge there. Yeah, that's a move for position at turn 1. Kelly just managed to slip right down the inside of turn 1. Difficult move to make, but a bit of give and take from the 2 teammates there, and that elevates Kelly up into 5th.
Oh, our in-race, early in-race reporter. Oh, we got some side-by-side action going on right now with Dean O'Brien. Dean O'Brien right now, side-by-side, trying to fight for position with Hayden Dodman. And this is still side-by-side action. They're going to go 3 wide, boys, with an SDC car. They're going to have to go off track. The Oshram Ford Falcon gets off track and comes back in. They're 3 wide again.
That was Sam Compton who... Sam Compton was able to be the big winner out of that, able to take both the positions there as the two cars had a bit of a coming together at turn 3. So Compton moves himself up a couple of spots. He'll be happy with that one.
Oh, that's a huge boost of confidence there, or at least a big help for Sam Compton, our pre-race reporter. And right now, he's doing real good out there.
I think
track. Sorry, boys, just going to make another announcement. Off track again for Dean O'Brien. He's having quite a bit of problems with his Oshram Ford Falcon. And then Hayden Dodman, guys, heading down pit road.
Now, we've got to have Curtis Chipaway, Carroll, Orchard, Chipaway, Ford. That humongous, and you've got scrapping every which way at every little corner there. Curtis Chipaway is coming under fire big time now. He's going to be on the outside heading up over the bridge. Tricky part of the road to be.
Oh, and we got a car turned down. It's Curtis Chipaway. You got a big crash, guys. It is all happening right over the bridge section. Ian Ford involved. He gets through it. Others not so lucky.
Matthew Hill side of the circuit, and he hasn't moved.
There was at least 2 other cars that got involved there that had heavy nose-to-tail contact. It's an awful part of the road there. A blind crest coming over the hill. And that has ended in tears for a number of these drivers. Matty Hill, Curtis Chipaway running so strong in the top 10.
Man, guys, that is just one that you hate to see at this point in the race, this early in the race. Everybody, emotions running high, guys trying to get a lot of positions moved the best they can, and things just, they actually too much congestion in a small area. One car gets a little bit turned around and they back up, they stack up like dominoes. They do it, are they going to do it again?
Turn two, this major accident.
They're still 3 wide under the bridge.
Yes, sir. That is going to be Kane Kujamiya, and then all right behind him, Bo Cattell, followed by Heath Brennan. That's Nigel Baines. He was side-by-side with Craig Jones and Jason Dixon, boys.
Well, I tell you what, boys, madness has just erupted here at Oran Park. We had that huge collision in the bottom half of the top 10. The guys are still battling with each other. Oh, John Latham! John Latham, there's big contact at the final turn at the flip-flop. 3 cars involved. Somehow they managed to keep it together. But in the last lap and a half, it's just exploded here. That was Latham, Stenberg, and I think Lee Ellis in there as well. I might have called Ellis wrong there, but unbelievable.
Yeah, that was
and
Michael
Aaron Hamilton
Cracknell
as well.
Michael Cracknell in there with John Latham. All the guys are fighting over every inch of the racetrack here. You're right, it has exploded. I've got Bo Cattell. He's having a look down on the inside of Kane into turn 1. Bo's gone from 33rd up to 15th. I mentioned at the top of the broadcast that he might be one to watch through this as he makes that position and he's going to go up into.
And there's still chaos down at turn 2. You've got Mitch McLeod, Sam Compton off at turn 2 again. Boys, what is going on out there?
Unbelievable.
Now
Unbelievable.
Be assured on tonight's race.
Oh, absolutely, but there's battles everywhere, and it seems that everyone from the top 10 on down, it's just absolute madness out there. Still want to look at Michael Cracknell and John Latham because that was heated up just a lap ago at the very section of track they are right now. How those three cars did not wreck, I'll never know, and Latham has a bit of an off track there. He's going to be under extreme pressure from Michael Cracknell as he dropped a wheel off on entry. Cracknell going to try and out-drag him down into turn 1, but Latham gets the drive. And they're going to continue on for another round. We're on lap 7 of 30, boys. There's still a long way to go here.
It's looking up here at position number 4. We got a battle for 4th place. It's between Michael Fulcher and the hybrid racing simulation Sean Kelly. Fantastic battle between these two. Very clean, but very, 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 very interesting. Woof. It got real close just a second ago. I was about to button holding it down, trying not to blurt it out, but fantastic battle up here in 4th place. Right now, Sean Kelly trying to make a move on Michael Fulcher.
It's turned into just a high-pressure cook situation for everyone, it seems. They're fighting just for every little bit of road that they can steal, and they are fighting hard. The only man who, the only people out there that are taking it easy seems to be Chastain, Hampstead, and Fieldcell. They are still the top 3. That's the 3 podium sitters. Everyone else has just lost the plot almost. But I tell you what, it's exciting to watch. I'm not complaining by any stretch. Turn it up, boys, and here comes Kelly on Fulcher into turn 2.
Yeah, Kelly's got his race pace on. He's got the eyes forward. He made quick work of Aldridge earlier on, and he's Fulcher now. Of course, Kelly had a Donington, trying to make amends this time around at Oran Park.
Guys, I don't know if you caught it, but on the first lap, Nigel Baines in turn 2 was knocked off and brought almost all the way back to the rear of the field, 26th position, thanks to a combination of factors like his racecraft monstering the back of cars, passing cars everywhere, and taking advantage of the massive incidents that we've seen. He has worked his way back up to 16th. So he's steadily working his way up the field, is Nigel Baines.
And speaking of, he's monstering Kane Kugamiya in that 511 car.
Was just about to mention that. We've got a pretty good battle shaping up here.
Absolutely, and of course we've got to draw attention to the great job that Kane 511 car stepping up from his race. He started in position number, where have I got him there? He started
27th.
27th and finds himself in 14th position.
What a race so
Remarkable bit of driving there, and they're still on. They're going to run side by side at the exit of turn 2. Nigel Baines is looking to get the pass, but he's going to have to go the long way around at turn 3. Thinks better of it. They're side by side ahead of that too. Kane Kugamiya just holds his head steady and is able to keep the racing line and hold the position once more.
Just up in front of those guys, Cattell's just made his way past Tobias Cerny, and now he's looking at Michael Cracknell for another position. As Cracknell runs wide, he'll get a slowdown penalty for that. Oh, as Cattell goes wide to avoid him.
Cerny's going to try and buy into this as well. I think that Cattell just saw the opportunity and tried to snatch it. He was lucky that it didn't. He ran off the road there, and Cerny's going to jump through as well to get past Cracknell, and Cerny tries to come back on Cattell heading into the final turn.
Side by side going in. It is real excited. Sean Kelly going to have to fall back a little bit. Good job by Michael Fulcher there to stay up in that 4th spot.
That's terrific driving by Fulcher. He's placing the car to place it to keep Kelly at bay.
Kugamiya and Baines are side by side into turn 3. Once again, this is the final lap. Well, the last lap that we saw, except Baines is a bit further up this time. You've got Heath Brennan trying to buy into this as well. It's Brennan who's going to put pressure on Nigel Baines. I've got to say, Kugamiya is driving a brilliant job just to keep the nose clean, not crack under the pressure, because he is really being put to the test.
I am still amazed at how
a bit
Michael
further behind
Fulcher,
that. Sorry, Dean O'Brien running side by side over the bridge with Mitch McLeod. Oh wow, it doesn't matter where you look, boys.
Yeah, that battle between Dean O'Brien, Mitch McLeod and Sam Compton is raging at the moment. Everywhere I look on track there is a group of 3 or 4 cars just nose to tail battling each other.
All right, boys, here it is. Good opportunity right now for Sean Kelly in the hybrid race forward. He's right behind Michael Fulcher, and at any moment he's going to go side by side. Will he look to try to get side by side again coming through turn 3? Well, now they're going over the bridge section, so it won't be this time. Maybe on the final turn if he can get on the inside. He is really looking to get up in that 4th spot. Here he comes, guys. Good run from Sean Kelly. A little loose, hit the exit curve there really hard.
Kelly's looking very racy on all of these slow speed corners back here, but Fulcher's doing a great job off that final turn and at turn 3. Those are the key positions where you need to be able to get the drive down, and he's doing everything that he needs to be doing. Stewards, of course, going to have their hands full with all this mess that's been going on. Lap 12 out of 30, still plenty to go, and with some news down to Reese in the pits.
Yeah, guys, I've got some stewards' decisions here. I'm hearing post-race decisions for car 101, that's Tobias Zerny, car 86, that's Dale Nish, and car 089, which is Bobby Jovanovic. So their misgivings will be investigated after the race. And we've also got a drive-through penalty for car 15, which is Ian Ford.
Oh, that's tough for Ian. He had a good race going, guys. How about the side-by-side action between him and Curtis Chipaway right now? Good job by Ian Ford to make it around Kurt.
Number of battles out there that are well underway that we're going to have to keep our eye on. Dean O'Brien and Mark Warmington, for example, as O'Brien has a look up the inside. Tricky part of the road, though.
Guys, Dean having some issues with connection.
There we go. Terrible bit of commentator's curse, I hope not. But I was just going to say, where we look, there's some important ones we've got to keep an eye on. Nigel Baines and Kane Kugamiya, that is still raging on. Cerny and Cattell, same situation. Bit further up the road, of course, Kelly and Fulcher, we've documented that one well. But most importantly, I'm looking at right up the front. Chad Chastain's lead has been slashed. It's 0.6 of a second at the line the last time by. Hampstead has been putting massive pressure on our race leader, Chad Chastain, and looks like if Chastain's going to respond, he's going to have to do it now because Hampstead is coming.
Yeah, guys, the pressure really starting to heat up there in the 139 car of Chad Chastain. The Simpit Falcon doing everything he can to stay ahead of the fast-paced Richard Hampstead. Keep your eye on this as he continues to inch closer.
They're phenomenal lap times that Hampstead's put out, just so consistent. And Chastain might have a fast lap, but then he's got a little bit of a slower lap, and that's where Hampstead's making all his inroads at the moment. As Chastain lays down a 107.98, and Hampstead does a 107.99, so there's literally nothing in it between these two guys at the moment.
And those are some mighty quick times when you look through the rest of the field and see what everyone else is doing.
But we're 14 laps in, and I can see this battle of the front raging for the next 16 laps for sure, guys. Chastain's not going to give up this lead easily.
Now,
battle back in the pack, sorry Leo, back in 14th, 15th, 16th and 17th.
Exactly,
there's a huge battle going on right now between Nigel Baines. He's managing to hold out Brennan, Cracknell and Jones, but these guys are applying plenty of pressure to him.
Well, as we saw in the development series race, when you've got cars like this lined up line astern, one boy gets his nose up the inside, that opens the door, and next thing, you got 2 or 3 other cars that are trying to cram themselves through that tiny little slot. And with the way these guys have been racing, I think that any gap that they see, they're just going to lunge for it like you would not believe.
All right, boys, we're coming up window. When will we see leader Chad Chastain or Richard Hampstead dug down into the pits? They're on lap 15 right now. It could happen anytime. Here comes Sean Kelly again, fellas. Back up there on Michael Fulcher. Could he be trying to make another move here? He gets right in the right opportunity, but it's such a good job from Michael Fulcher. Here he is, right on the bumper. He's going to go to the inside, guys, and he gets good defensive driving there from Michael Fulcher.
Now, I should just clarify there, sorry to say, JD, but the pit stops are going to come in the second race. It's our second race with a compulsory pit stop. This one is going to go flag to flag. Lap 16 out of 30. Chastain and Hampstead, there's nothing else between these two guys except the battle on the track. And 0.4 of a second is the gap between them.
What I'm seeing, guys, is some really smart driving from Sean Kelly at the moment. He's backing off. If he can't get the pass done, he'll back off for a lap or two and get a bit more life back into those tyres and attack Fulcher again. It's Kelly, and I think it's only a matter of time before he gets that 4th position.
Well, the thing that I noticed in that development series race is that towards the end of it all, cars were getting a bit skatey out there, and looking at the lap times, they were dropping off pretty heavily. Looking at Sean Kelly, for example, and Michael Fulcher, they lost over a second on their best lap times.
All right, here he comes now. Will we see Richard Hampstead? He is right in striking position, guys. It is now an official battle for the lead. He's going to move to the inside as they head down into turn 1. Doesn't get the momentum, and he needs to try to make it. Here he goes.
Oh, there's a dive. There's a dive.
Here he is. Let's see if he gets the grip needed and the momentum to make the pass. What could hurt him is now the inside advantage will go to Chad. Can Chad rebound? It's going to be tough. Let's see what happens. Big opportunity right here for Chad to regain his lead and hold it.
Here we
he
go.
Goes to the middle just right. Beautiful job by Chad to hold on. But with those tires, Richard Hampstead, this will not be the only time he's going to do that, guys. This is going to happen more and more often. And here he comes again. He's going to go side by side. I think he's got him this time, guys. Slight contact as the panel brushes up against the front of Chastain's car. And now we got a new leader.
Nothing that Chastain could do with that one. Hampstead just had the pace, had the grip, and Richard Hampstead is going to assume the lead of the race on lap 17 out of drops back down into the 2nd position. Our pole sitter. And they are going to continue on, be hoping to see if Chastain's got anything left in his tyres. Maybe he can cool them off a bit because the tyre drop-off has been immense and there's still 12 laps left in this race.
Wow. What a race, guys. What a race.
Now, still on track and off track. And down to Reese in the pits with a bit of an update.
Yeah, guys, I'm hearing a few tidbits of information from certain drivers. I'm hearing that Lee Ellis and Martin Carroll, both guys running in the top 10, they're both having issues. Lee Ellis is having car issues. He's down on straight line speed, and he hopes it doesn't affect his engine in the long run. Now, usually, because Oran Park is such a tight, twisty circuit, straight line speed isn't necessarily an issue. But since it's an engine problem, it could turn out to be quite the problem in the long run. And Martin Carroll of SDC Motorsport, that he is having issues with his graphics card, and he's currently running 6th. So if any sort of fatal error were to happen, that would be a very big blow for Martin Carroll.
Yeah, that's true, Reese. Martin Carroll's last lap around was a minute 12, so he obviously had an off track there somewhere. But I'm looking at the front of Lee Ellis's car, and it is completely stoved in, so that engine wouldn't be doing too well, and is considering there's still all over 12 laps to go in this race, you better nurse it to the finish.
Yeah, so I think there's going to be a few position changes in the top 10 before the end of this race, guys. Needless to say.
Yeah, even right now, Martin Carroll in danger of losing that 6th spot. He has Tony Autridge right now in striking distance. And if things are difficult with, when you have going through your mind, worried about a graphics card failing on you or something like that. You need that maximum focus needed to drive to your optimum level. And I believe that's what's happening. I'm very surprised Marty's able to drive this good with that going on. Very good job from him up there in 6th place. Well, guys, up in the front, Richard Hampstead has taken advantage of his fresh air up there in the clean air. He has drove up to over a second lead now over Chad Chastain now, or right at it. So Chad Chastain has to get back on it. Find a way to get back up on that high horse and get back up in the lead. At least try to fight for it.
Chastain was a whole second a lap slower that time by. We watch a part Dixon making the move on Heath Brennan. 18th and 19th position. We've seen battles.
Oh, guys, sorry to butt in there. I've got Nigel Baines off turn 2. He's just dropped a fair few positions. Now he's got Mitchell McLeod right behind him.
Now we saw earlier in the race when that happened, someone drops a wheel off, someone has a bit of a moment, and the drivers were just like a pack of sharks, jump on any opportunity that they had.
Guys, I want to bring up a quick point. Looking back on the beginning of this race, Bo Cattell started in the 33rd position. Right now, Bo is currently in 11th position and continuing to try to move up through this field. Next on the list for him is a pass into the top 10 if he can find his way around the 37 car of John Latham. Keep your eye on Bo Cattell, guys.
Yeah, the two guys in front, Latham and Ellis, he's about 4 to 5 times quicker a lap than the pair of those guys, so he'll be looking to pressure him soon, especially with what Reese mentioned earlier with Ellis's dramas.
And Tobias Cerny in that DeWalt Ford
he's
is
off track, boys. Completely off track. He's going to save it, but that's going to cost him detrimental time, and he's going to fall in behind Tobias Cerny a good few seconds back. Tough break there for Bo. The commentator cursed me. I got him. I'm sorry, Bo. I apologize.
Well, he has only lost one position there. Hopefully it hasn't hurt his tyres too bad, but one position he's lost. Tobias Cerny back there is still running quicker than Latham and Ellis. Those two are locked in a fight, so there's nothing to say that Cattell can't close right up on those boys again, because there's only 10 laps remaining in the race. As soon as they start to fight, that could reel him right back in.
So I'm just having a look. It looks like Aldridge has made his way past Marty Carroll. Aldridge now up into 6th position.
Man, what a fantastic run. This has just been amazing, guys, as the race. We still got so much more action left to go, but this thing from the drop of the green flag has been non-stop action-packed racing at its best. This is what the Premier Series is all about, guys. This is why we circled Oran Park when we first heard it was going to be on the schedule. Unbelievable. Let's take a look at Nigel Baines.
I don't think I took a breath for that first 10 laps.
Baines is off. Mitch McLeod and Nigel Baines have it coming together, exiting turn 3, and it's Baines who goes spinning across the scenery.
Yeah, sometimes Nigel kept it out of the... But the biggest part of this is not going to be the damage. It's going to be all these positions he's losing. He cannot get back on the track. There's just nowhere for him to go. He can't enter. He literally has
really been in the wars this race, hasn't he?
He has had just a bad run of events, and he had a good run going early, but it just hadn't fallen his way, guys. All right, let's look back on old Fast Fulch as I know him, or you guys know him, Michael Fulcher, up there in 4th. Sean Kelly starting to reel him back in. Yeah, Kelly run, man. I tell you what, though, it's so deceiving. Every time that I catch this battle starting to happen, or when they fight for position, I keep cutting Michael Fulcher short. Sean Kelly will get right there on the bumper, and the next thing you know, there's no threat. Michael Fulcher doing such a good job defensive driving up there in front. Everything looks calm and collective in the KRT machine, boys.
Jason Dixon and Ian Ford. That was a bit of a big sideways moment from Dixon. He is under extreme pressure. Ian Ford going to have a bit of a dive. It's a tough corner to make a move on. Dixon's going to hold on to the position. We're going to head down towards the flip-flop and the final turn. Ford going to think about a dive up the inside.
Guys,
there.
John Latham. Makes a pass and goes off the road. He's in the wall. Lee Ellis will make the pass. John Latham is in the wall, boys. Back in a few spots back, so he'll lose that top 10 position that he had. Tough break for him. That is unfortunate. 7 car.
Latham was fighting with Ellis and Cerny. What happened, JD? Incident.
Yes, I did. It was. I just saw it up in the corner of my eye because I was actually watching I was watching the car behind him, and it looked like they were getting a little racy, and it just looked like Lee Ellis just lost. John Latham just lost control, kind of like what we saw with Bo Cattell.
Now, whilst that was happening,
he tried to hold the outside around turn 1. Extremely hard to do there. Just dropped those right-hand wheels onto the dirt and lost all control of it.
As that was happening, we see Ian Ford make the move on Jason Dixon. You've also got Heath Brennan right there and Bobby Ivanovic not far behind. And these boys are, of course, chasing down Craig Jones. So that is a 5-car battle for position. And they are really turning it up here at Oran Park. 6 laps remain.
Well, boys, we got to give credit there to Reese Gardner for his update. It has proven there has been position changes up in the top 10, but looking back, Martin Carroll still holding on. He did fall to Tony Ottridge, but he is still in 7th place, so hanging on tightly there. And then we look at Lee Ellis. He's actually moved up to 9th after the John Latham incident. A lot of damage there, worried about the engine trouble, but guys, he's still holding on to that 9th place spot. Here comes Tobias Ernie, maybe to give him some trouble. Back out front, there is no worries if you're Richard Hampstead, as he is over a 2-second lead now in front. No troubles ahead of him. Looks like he has pretty open road ahead of him. If he can just race his, he should be okay.
Sorry to butt in there, JD. Sean Kelly, just give Fulcher a little nudge heading into turn 2. Fulcher done extremely well to hold onto it. But Sean Kelly is all over the back of Fulcher at the moment.
Guys, these two have been going on the entire race. They have not let up at all. It has been Michael Fulcher and Sean Kelly. Michael has been doing a fantastic job of holding on to that 4th place position. And Sean Kelly, you wonder if he'll finally get it here before the checkered waves.
Now the other battle I want to watch, Tobias Cerny and Lee Ellis. Cerny has been looking mighty quick behind Lee Ellis. That's the fight for 9th and 10th on the road. Bo Cattell, of course, is just a couple of, about a second behind that. But Cerny's been looking very competitive. He just hasn't been able to find a way around.
Side by side, we got some contact, boys. This is Craig Jones right now with Ian Ford. Ian down on the inside, going to make a move. And Ian Ford will pull ahead there. And the Dimmadov Ford Falcon makes a move, and he'll make the pass. Jason Dixon now trying to hold off. And here comes Bobby. He's up, made a pass again, so 2 spots lost for Jason Dixon.
And Craig Jones dropping backwards in the middle of that. He looks like he's a sitting duck. Ford got the move done. He was left high and wide coming over the bridge, and Dixon just quickly slid up and took the position from him as well.
Man, what a race when you could just basically randomly click on a driver and something great happen. And it's just unbelievable. Just pick a spot on the track, guys. There's action all over this. Starting to be a little bit of a development here up near the front. How about, or not in the front, mid-pack, Kane Kajimia fighting on Mitchell McLeod. Mitchell McLeod back there in 15th. Love to catch one more position and move up into 14th. Remember, he had an incident with Nigel Baines not long ago, and then he had an incident earlier in the race as well, so rebounded very nicely from those.
And of course, can't speak highly enough of the job that Kane Kugamiya has done to go from 27th on the grid up into his current position of 14th.
Yeah,
Great
it's
bit
quite.
of driving from the successful development series driver. He's going to be under big pressure from Mitch McLeod. He's fighting with some big name drivers, and McLeod is really hustling through that final turn.
Tell you what, guys, I'm looking at the back end of the top 10, Lee Ellis and Tobias Cerny. Lee Ellis is reporting to his team bosses that he feels like he's carrying a parachute behind him in reference to his straight line speed. Just saw Tobias almost draw up to his rear bumper as they came down the front straight. Look out for a bit of a battle in these last 2 laps, I think.
Thank you, Reese. I appreciate that. You can definitely see the struggle of Lee. He's doing a wonderful job keeping and hanging on to this 9th spot. But you know, Tobias Ernie back there in the DeWalt Ford Falcon would love to make a move and get that 9th spot right from him, guys. We don't have much racing left. More troubles for Mitchell McLeod. It looks like we're hearing as another off track for him. One thing after another for him. And he has regained on the track, but we'll see how he comes out here.
Tobias Cerny is getting closer and closer to Lee with a second. Really good battle developing right now.
Absolutely, it's Cerny that has the pace over Lee Ellis. 0.2 of a second quicker that last time by, but Ellis has the track position, and that is king around Oran Park. Tricky little circuit. They've only got a lap and a half to go. Race leader Richard Hampstead has just begun his final lap of the race. He's 2.6 kilometres from another win in the Online Premier Series. Also want to watch Kelly and Fulcher because they know they're on the last lap. Kelly is closer than he has been for the whole second half of the race. Fulcher, of course, driving a fantastic job in the 4th position. You got to wonder if Kelly's going to make a dive, and if he does, where does he do it though?
All Tobias and Lee side by side. Tobias takes 9th place from Lee Ellis.
Wait a minute,
Lee
here
Ellis trying
comes
to cut
Lee
back.
on a rebound. Yeah,
Oh,
here comes
dear.
Lee.
Seen this plenty of times before. So Cerny has the preferred line. Ellis going to try a switchback, and he is going to get the nose under heading into turn 4. Not going to be able to get it done, but he has a dive.
Yes,
they're going to be side by side at turn 4. Ellis shuts the door and takes that position back. However, up the front, Richard Hampstead crosses the line, takes the checkered flag for another victory. Brilliant drive to take the win over Chad Chastain and Jared Filsell. Looks like Fulcher is going to get home ahead of Kelly.
All right, guys, all the way to the end here. What's going to happen with Tobias Cerny? He does not get the pass on Lee Ellis here through the final turn. Great driving by Lee Ellis with a beat-up race car, even with the parachute filling behind him in his straight line speed. Job well done. Man, what a race, guys. What a race.
What a race.
It certainly had everything, that race. First lap was quite calm, and then it just exploded, that race. Terrific racing by pretty much the large part of that field. There was battles all over the place and good clean racing.
I will say, I think that the fights that we had in this race throughout the whole field, throughout the whole race, were probably some of the most intense and furious that we have seen in this Online Premier Series. A true test for the drivers. And there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be very, very happy with the show that they put on. I thought it was a fantastic show, but there's also going to be a lot of very unhappy drivers because there was a fair bit of biff and barge in there.
Well, how about this from Richard Hampstead? We saw Chad Chastain in qualifying, steal the pole. A phenomenal race from him, but Richard Hampstead never gave up. Kept on the trail, and it paid off in the end with a victory here in race 1. Fantastic run.
So we're going to run through the race results for race number 1 because we have Richard Hampstead who brought it home for another victory here in the Online Premier Series. Our pole sitter came home in 2nd, and Jared Filsell rounds out the podium. Michael Fulcher held on for 4th. over Sean Kelly, Tony Autridge, Martin Carroll, Kurt Stenberg, Lee Ellis, and Tobias Cerny. We, of course, watched that fantastic battle that rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, if we had Boak 30, up 22 spots to 11th, just behind him, John Latham in 12th. 13th went to Michael Cracknell. 14th to Kane Kugimara, sorry, Kane if I got that wrong. 15th went to Mitchell McLeod. 16th to Ian Ford. Jason Dixon comes 17th. Craig Jones and Bobby Javinkovic, and then 20th into Sam Compton.
That's right, buddy. In 21st, Curtis Chipaway, as he had quite a day. Heath Brennan in 22nd. 23rd went to Mark Warm. Richard Aylward, 24th. 25th went to Aaron Hamilton. Brad Smith scores a 26th finish. 27th for Nigel Baines. Dean O'Brien will finish in the 28th spot, with Dale Nish taking 29th. Matt Hill rounds out 30 cars.
Also, Hayden Dodman, Chris Dickinson, unfortunately, didn't make the finish. There was a lot of action, a lot of excitement, and a lot of intense battles throughout that entire race. And, boys, we are going to do it all again. Another 30 laps from Oran Park coming up very shortly. We're going to have to jump over across that, onto that server, getting ready for the next race. But as a bit of a new feature here at V8s Online, we've put together something of a driver spotlight, just to put a bit of a shine on the some of the drivers involved in the online Premier Series. So I'll let you all sit back and enjoy this little video we put together, and we'll be right back after this little break for more action from Oran Park.
Hey, my name's Jared. I drive the Tag Best Management Ford 27. I've been on the iRacing scene for just over a year now. It'll be coming up on about a year that I've been driving the V8. I definitely didn't expect to have such good results straight away as soon as I got in the top split, but I'm a competitive person, so I really wanted to get up there and win. I'm pretty happy to do so. Racing in the Premier Series is some of the fiercest competition ever. It's very, very intense, and there's nothing like it on iRacing. The first race of the season was definitely very nervous on the grid, not knowing what was going to happen into turn one, but after a few laps it was kind of calmed down. Leading the first laps was an awesome feeling, but not coming home with the win was not really disappointing, but it was a good result nonetheless. To keep myself in the podium in the top 5, I need to be a lot more consistent, find some more pace out of the car, and hopefully keep it up there and keep it on track, more importantly. Qualifying is absolutely number one on my mind for Oran Park. It's just so hard to pass there, and you definitely want to be up in the top 5-ish if down the back of the grid and caused in tonnage and whatnot. It's an awesome track. It's more physically demanding, just turning constantly, and more mentally as well. So it's really tough to keep it on the track. To finish in the top 3 would be a definite advantage for me, just knowing I can be up there consistently to take it to the likes of Madison and Richard. Hopefully towards the end of the season, Giro time for the Bathurst event, I can get up there and hopefully go for a win once we develop our setup a lot more. I'm Jared Fieldcell. I hope you enjoy the racing from Oran Park, broadcasted from V8s Online.
And welcome back to V8 Online's live and exclusive coverage of the V8 Supercar Online Premier Series, presented by Get Dirty MX, TrakRacer, and Oceanic Sim Racing. That was just a little bit of an insight to the V8's Online Premier Series and the drivers involved, and we're going to hope to bring you a lot more segments like that in the future as we look forward to our coming events, because of course we go to Phillip Island in just a couple of weeks' time. Everybody going to be looking forward to that one. And then there was the exciting news, of course, about the final round of the Online Premier Series. The Bathurst event is going to be the full Bathurst 1000, hopefully with driver swaps by that point in time, and it is going to be a massive event that everybody is looking forward to. Cannot wait for that one. Now we are getting ready for the session to be up and ready to go here at Oran Park. The stewards are all, of course, getting ready to set the grid, get everything up and sorted for this second race and the second event here. But the first one, of course, was a fantastic curtain raiser. I think even for most people that would be enough, but we're going to go around and do it all again. And JD, what do you think we're going to expect this time, buddy, with the pit stop to come into play? Different strategies, perhaps. People might be looking to save their tyres and make pits, you think? May not have JD at the moment. I think I've got Reese here with me. Are you there, Reese?
Yeah, I am here, Leo.
Fantastic, mate. Just talking about your neck of the woods and the pit stop game, because of course that's going to be a feature in this second race. It's going to be a compulsory pit stop and a big opportunity to mix things up a bit. But man, with the way those tyres fell off, do you think that anyone would make a gamble and grab some fresh boots at the end of this one?
Honestly, I think it all depends on how long it takes to put tyres on the car compared to how long it would take to put the 50 litres of fuel in that they need, certainly. So I don't know. I think it's about 50-50. Some guys might take it a little bit easier and just try and get to the end on one set of tyres, or some put on another set of tyres and just go banzai hot lapper towards the end. Who knows?
Well, looking at it there, I saw that there was a couple were definitely a second a lap slower than their fast lap. Sometimes even a second and a half. So let's say that it's it all depends on how long you go for. If you take 6 seconds of fuel and it takes 12 seconds to change a set of tires, just speculating on that, you could almost say that 6 seconds you'll give up 6 seconds. And if you can get those 6 seconds back through pace, then it's been the right move. So I'll be very keen to see if anybody takes that gamble.
As will I. And if I do find out anything about what strategies these guys will be running, I will get back to you guys 100%. Now, just got a bit of a message from In Ford, who has just jumped into this team speak. He says that people are going to try fuel saving the whole way. So we might not see guys stopping for fuel.
For this to jump up might be a bit of an opportunity to have a bit of a chat to the boys that have stuck their hands up there. Because
yeah, certainly.
Everyone getting ready to go, still waiting for the session to jump up here. But I guess Reese, why don't you to have a bit of a poke there with Ian and tell us what you can find out.
Yeah, certainly. Ian, are you there?
Yeah, man.
Okay, so this is some interesting information that you sent to me. People are going to try fuel saving the whole way. So does this mean that people may be concentrating on tyres in their pit stops, given how big the fall off was in race 1?
I'm pretty sure tyres won't be the key, but there's going to be people taking 2 tyres, 4 tyres, whatever it takes to get past other cars. Certain there's definitely going to be cars in the field trying to make it the whole way.
Okay, so are you saying that people may stop for less fuel, or just not bother stopping for fuel at all and just changing tyres? Because it's about 15 or 16 litres, I heard, that people may need to get at their stops.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure people are going to see how it goes in warm up and try and make it the whole way with no stop. It might balance out like it did a couple of seasons ago at Montreal.
Montreal is always a good race.
That's going to be a big one to works out. Thanks for dropping in, Ian. It was a pretty intense race that you hopefully we'll be able to have a proper chat to you after this second event. But see, the session is up and running. So jump off and get some practice laps in before we get underway.
Thank you. I'll practice putting my right foot down a bit more.
And we've also got Marty Carroll who's joined us. Are you there, Marty?
Yeah, I'm here, guys. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem, mate. It was an action-packed first race, and we're hoping for more of the same excitement here in the second. And what are your thoughts heading into the differences that we're going to see tonight with a compulsory pit stop compared to the first one?
Yeah, like Ian was saying there, people may try. We've worked out our average fuel burn to 2.1 litres a lap. So with the fuel restriction to about 45 litres, it's going to be touch and go. You're going to have to run at about 5 fuel burn to try and get close. And I don't know whether the lap times will be comparable or not. So we're still up in arms what we're doing with our strategy. Just like the first, we got our race set done about 5 minutes before qualifying. So it's been exciting.
Is the key word there, my friend, and we're looking forward to turns out. And so we're going to let you go and get things ready, and we'll have a chat to you afterwards.
Lovely, thank you guys.
Best of luck, Marty.
Now, that little snippet of video that we watched earlier, that was Jared Filsell taking us for a bit of a spin around Oran Park and letting us know what it's like being a driver in the online Premier Series. And I think that we might have Jared on board with us here to have a bit of a chat. Just got him dialed up on the radio. Not sure if you can hear us at the moment, Jared.
Yeah, guys, I'm here.
Alrighty, thanks for stopping by and joining us. Good podium for yourself in the first race. Hopefully looking forward to the second one. And of course, thanks for doing that interview with us a bit earlier. So I was wondering if you could take us for a bit of a tour around this Oran Park circuit. It's one that's some very exciting racing, and it's of course a famous track here in Australian motor racing.
Yeah, definitely. It was quite an interesting race, to be honest. I was saving my tyres the whole race, and I didn't even get close to the guys in front towards the end of the race. So yeah, I'm not sure. I think my set just really eats up the tyres a bit too much.
You're going to spend your plans for this second race, because some of the boys going the whole distance fuel save. Seems like a bit of a bold move from the information we were given earlier.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know it, but I don't really want to do that. I really want to try and mix it with Richard and Chad, because I don't think I could probably make it on 45 litres of fuel. That's pretty tough.
Yeah, but that's also what we like, is the varying options, the different strategies, and everyone trying to figure out what it takes for them to come home with the win. So hopefully you've learnt something from that first race. It was certainly an exciting, and if this one is even just a little bit like that, I'll be very happy.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's all about getting the start off the line. Chad definitely got the jump last race, so yeah. Richard got quite a bad one, so I probably expect him to do a pretty good start this race. But yeah, I don't know where I'm starting yet. I haven't had a look at the grid.
I was just wondering, Jared, if you've heard from the stewards and race control, what's the requirements on pit stop? I was just reading the forums earlier, and it's got a pit requirement, a compulsory pit service. Service is required, but then it's also got further down in the briefing, no compulsory pit stop. So do you know if you have to stop, or?
I think you could do whatever you got to do to get it to the end of the race, I think.
Okay, well that clarifies a few things. There might be some drivers out there thinking they have to stop, so.
I think probably having the stop would be just to limit the risk, I guess. But if people want to go fuel save, they can go do it. I don't mind.
Well, you obviously think your fastest strategy is to pit, get the splash of fuel, and get to the end.
Yeah, definitely. I haven't even worked out the fuel to see how much you need to make it, to be honest. Yeah, so if I could get Carwin to check that out for me, I might even change my strategy.
That's the way, mate. Leave it all up to the race engineer.
Yep.
That's what they're there for. Well, rounding up a 10-minute practice session, and then of course 30 laps of racing. Any hot tips for what you expect that we're going to see this time by? Is it going to be more of the same, or something completely different?
I think it'll be completely different with pit stops, and it was really hard in quali to try and get a clean lap without hurting someone's lap time coming out the pits, so it's definitely going to be interesting. Might even see a bit of contact.
Jared, I'll say that you perhaps had the, I guess, the most uneventful ride out of anyone in the field. When you get the time, go back and watch the rest of race 1, because you're the only person, I think, that did not have some form of mayhem, because it was an explosive one. You wait and see, mate.
Yeah, it definitely was pretty calm and collected from where I was sitting.
Yeah, not the same for everybody else. Well, I think we might let you get back to it. There's only a couple of minutes left for you to get those final preparations. Thanks for dropping in, and looking forward to another exciting race, and all the best for that afterwards.
Cheers, guys.
Man, good luck, Jared.
Good luck, mate.
Boys, I'm stoked and excited for this one. Race 1, if it is any indication on what we're about to see in race 2, we are in for one heck of a treat.
Yeah, and to throw in, this might be fuel saving as well. This is just a whole nother element to this race. It's going to be on.
Well, if you can coast it down the bridge, you can get already trying to think.
Hey, you look at the layout of this track. It's not really a track where fuel saving would be an easy task. Not a whole lot of huge, heavy braking zones. That's where I save all my fuel when I'm driving. The guys that choose are going to have to be right on the game.
Yeah.
Go on, JD.
No, say if you're going to fuel save here, you're going to have to be really good at fuel saving. It wouldn't be a place you'd want to try to start trying to figure things out. You'd have to practice fuel saving here all week, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I was going to say pretty much the same thing, but this track, being as twisty as it is, you only really get a rest per se in terms of driving on the front straight. Everywhere else, you are constantly turning, constantly braking, constantly trying to balance your acceleration. So, yeah, as you guys say, fuel saving is going to be nigh on impossible here.
Well, it will be interesting to see how the different strategies play out. That's what makes it we love about it, and I am interested to see who's going to be the brave one. You got to think with the field size as it is, you'd have to have at least one or two that may try to do that. And only time will tell how well that will benefit them or not.
One of the things I love about this. One of the things I love about this Premier Series is the strategy options it throws up to drivers. You never know what's going to happen on the night.
That's a very good point. Official series, these guys know, you pretty much know what everybody's going to do. Very rarely do you get surprised, and that's not the case here, is it?
Exactly what they were looking for when this series was created. Now this warm-up session is just about to end, and we are going racing once more at Oran Park for Heat 2 of Round 5 of the online Premier Series. 30 laps around Sydney's Oran Park circuit. I'm going to run through the starting grid for you here because, as we mentioned, a different qualifying format. Richard Hampstead is the pole sitter for this second race of 2. Chad Chastain, pole sitter from race 1, is on the front row. Sean Kelly and Jared Filsell, Michael Fulcher, Tony Ortridge, Curtis Chipaway, Martin Carroll and Ian Ford. That is going to round out the top 10.
Yeah, and in 11th spot we've got Lee Ellis, followed by Aaron Hamilton, Kurt Stenberg in 13th, Nigel Baines out of 14th, Michael Cracknell, then Tobias Cerny in 16th, Matthew Hill 17th, Brad Smith 18th, 19th goes to John Latham, and 20th to Bobby Javenkovic.
Yeah, looking at it, 21st, it goes Hayden Dodman, Kane Kugamiya, Richard Elward, Craig Jones 24th, Jason Dixon in 25th, Heath Brennan, Dale Niche, Sam Compton, Mark Warmington, Todd Parks, and Bo Cattell round out our field. That is our 31 car field, guys. We're getting ready for the green flag for race number 2 at Oran Park.
So last time out, it was, of course, Chad Chastain who got the jump. It's Richard Hampstead that has the pole this time. But is it going to be one of the guys from the front row, someone from further back? We're going to find out in just a sec.
And those engines are revving. It's green flag here at Oran Park Race 2, boys.
And it looks like Hampstead's got the jumper. Check out Phil.
Phil
3 wide. He's got 2 wheels in the grass. Big squeeze into turn 1. That's going to be tight stuff. Hampstead is well ahead, and it looks like that's Chastain has held on for but he had his work cut out for him through turns 1 and 2, heading down to the very tight turn 3 now.
Oh, contact was made with the KRT machine.
And there's a big wreck, rollover, there's a car on its roof. Down the back of the field, that's
Bobby Jovankovic.
It is Bobby Jovanovic. He had a huge hit down in turn 3. Ended up on his roof.
Man, that
unbelievable
is
stuff.
Yeah.
It looks like everything else has been fairly clean and tidy. First lap almost complete. It's Richard Hampstead who leads them through the final turn from Sean Kelly, Jared Filsell, Tony Ortridge, Mitch McLeod and Michael Fulcher. That's the top 7 cars. Curtis Chipaway looking to make up for the heartbreak of the crash in race number 1. Martin Carroll and Ian Ford are rounding out the top 10. So that's lap 1 out of 30. There's going to be a lot to play for as we try to see if drivers will fuel save or make a stop, because it is going to be a lot of work to figure out the fastest way around this one.
Oh, Lee Ellis trying to make his way around Ian Ford, guys. Very close contact made. He literally ran into the rear of Ian Ford in front of him. Very tight here. All right, guys, as everybody's trying to kind of single file out, let's see what happens here throughout our field. It is Richard Hampstead out in the lead. The second place is Chad Chastain. Sean Kelly is in third. Jared Filsell back there after his start. And Tony Ottridge is back there in fifth place, excuse me. Yeah, we had a car fall a few positions. That's Michael Fulcher fell back there. He's just there in front of Curtis Chipaway, all the way back in 6th.
Action down at turn 3. I think that's, it's going to be Aaron Hamilton and Nigel Baines. Nigel Baines in there, and they're still going to be side-by-siding up into turn 4. That's one of the cars escorted wide. I think that's Ian Ford. There's going to be a 3-wide moment heading up to the bridge. It's Ford trying to get back in line as one of the Daco cars jumps in there. I think that's Kurt Stenberg, and you're going to have Matthew Hill trying to claim it as well.
Yeah, they're 2 big gainers out of that battle between Ford, and Ellis was
more
Baines and Cracknell.
Guys, sorry to jump in there like that, but more side-by-side right now with Hayden Dodman, and in front of him, Kurt Stenberg, Hayden Dodman, John Latham now side-by-side, and it's Jason Dickinson in the thick of it as well. Very, very intense racing going on, even here in the mid to backpack. All right, guys, if you would have told me just before these, you would see this much 3-wide at Oran Park and wouldn't have just total devastation out there, I would have told you were crazy, but that is exactly what we have here on the track. We have had more 3-wide situations and guys making it out to talk about it.
Bo Cattell making a move on Kane Kugamiya. Bo once again started from the back of the field. That's now the 22nd position that he's claimed, looking to make another charge for the 2nd race in a row.
I think he just enjoys doing that, boys. I think he may just like running up through the field. It sure is exciting. He's got Richard Elward in his sights now. We'll see if he makes his way around him. That is the 21st position he'll try to take away.
Now Kane, the driver, is just past Kane Kugamiya. He looks like he's falling into the niche. Keep an eye on that one. Kane, of course, did a great drive in the first race of the night. Still a long way to go. Lap 5 out of 30. And we still don't know exactly how everyone is going to be planning this one. It's still Richard Hampstead leading, 8/10 of a second gap from Chad Chastain. Another 8/10 back to Kelly, and the same gap back down to Filsell. And Tony Ortridge is the last car in the top 5.
And I tell you what, boys, we got a little bit of a fun battle going up for the battle for 6th. It's Mitchell McLeod right behind him. It's Michael Fulcher, Curtis Chipaway, followed by Martin Carroll and Ian Ford. Fun battles all the way from the 5th position or 6th all the way back to 10th. Good racing going on right now.
Oh, it certainly is. And Michael Fulcher, he's back in 7th position. Of course, he held down 4th position that first race. He has got Curtis Chipaway hounding the back of his car, that bright green machine. Just behind them, the battle between Marty Carroll and Ian Ford. You can barely separate these two guys the last couple of laps.
All right, guys, just start of lap number 6 here. Lots of racing left to go. And remember, this is the race. I know I said it last race, but I promise we're going to have some pit stops this race, boys.
We will. We'll have some pit stops. Of course, there might be some guys that aren't going to pit, which will be pretty something special to watch, I think, if they can make it. But just from looking at the guys' travel at the moment, I can't see anyone saving too much fuel.
No, looks like
Sam Compton is in the pits, guys.
Thanks, Reese. Sam Compton in the pits.
That's a pretty early stop from Sam Compton, and he was in there for a short time. He might have just either put just a couple of tyres on or just a bit of fuel and no tyres. I'm hearing he might be fuel saving.
Wow.
This is going to be interesting. Let's see how he does throughout this race. I'll be keeping an eye on him.
Yeah, definitely something we'll want to keep. That's definitely a story we don't want to look away from. It could be very big later in the race.
So I look back there, Bo Catel's made his way around Richard Arwood, and he's all over the back of Brad Smith in that Net Virtue race in Falcon. There's a huge train of cars all the way from 15th back from Hamilton and Stenberg, Latham, Dudman, Dixon in front of these guys. Gets up the inside of Smith, heading down into turn 4, and that'll be the pass made.
Michael Fulcher all on Mitchell McLeod. This is getting very interesting, guys, as this is the battle for 6th place. I've been keeping a close eye out on this Kamikaze race team machine. The Ford Falcon of Michael Fulcher all over Mitchell McLeod. Look for him to make a move. Here he is right on the bumper. Almost contact made as the fight continues between these two.
McLeod's done a great job to get him up into that position. 8th on the grid from McLeod, but that's been a big pack pretty well since the start of this race. Lap 8 out of 30 complete. And you can pretty well look at it from McLeod down to who we've got back there. Phil Stell dropped all the way back down into the 9th position.
Yeah, I'm sure Jared Philseld, that was not in the playbook for him to fall down to 9th like that, but skill level and how he carried himself in race 1. Look for him his way back up through this field. I know he's got some work cut out, but I wouldn't be surprised to see.
Yeah, guys, he dropped the wheel off at turn 3 on the previous lap. Brush with the wall.
Right there at the 10th mark, guys, and rounding out our top 10 is Nigel Baines. Remember the misfortunes in race 1. Maybe a little redemption here for him in race 2. Good to see him up in the top 10, but he has his hands full. Lee Ellis right there. Also, the other driver had another incidents there. He had that trouble in race 1. Did very well to
Cars into the pits. Sorry there, JD, but there was almost a huge collision at pit entry here. You need to remember that the nature of pit entry, drivers are pretty well slamming their brakes right on the race line. So it's a very, very dangerous pit entry, but we've seen the first of our guys making their stops. Curtis Chipaway, I think, led them in.
Yeah, Curtis Chipaway, Marty Carroll, Aaron Hamilton, followed by Kurt Stenberg, Matthew Hill, also Kane Cooper and Richard Elward, all in the pits. And now Ian Ford, sorry about that, man. All these names jumping in. Mark Warmington, that's the one. He's in his pit stall as well, guys.
And it is Kurt Chipaway who led them. Ian Ford had made a stop the lap prior, and Ian Ford, 19th on the road, is the first driver to have made a pit stop. So it's all begun now, and this is where teams are going to roll the dice, try and figure out what the fastest way to make race work is. Some people are just going to take a splash of fuel. Some may take tyres. Some might even try and go the whole distance without stopping, we've heard. 20 laps to go till we figure it all out.
Yeah, guys, and I was just having a look there.
Oh, contact made with Sean Hill. Sean Kelly making contact with Mark Warmington, guys. A car that just came out of the pits. Everything seems to be okay, but some damage done definitely to the side of the Hybrid Racing Simulations machine.
Problem there with Kelly being in the 3rd position. That's the last thing he wants for his campaign. But just going to be very awkward, of course, the nature of this track when there's guys coming out of the pits. Those that are still on flyers are just going to want to make any ground that they can, and they'll take any sort of position.
Right now, Hayden Dodman making his way out of pit road. And so guys constantly coming down pit road, getting things done here. Making sure they get enough fuel in there to make the distance.
I was going to touch on before, Matty Hill, he's taken a very long pit stop, about 8 seconds longer than everyone else. So that's dropped him back as he just makes the pass now on Sam Compton.
Hey guys, Nigel Baines off the track. He's off into the sandy bits, and here he comes back onto the track, and the car almost spins around on him, losing control in the Carnival Candy Sim Pit Ford Falcon. Tough break right there from Nigel Baines. The bad luck may continue for him here, guys.
Now, just back on Matthew Hill there, Brooksy, I want to watch how his progress goes and see if he took tyres. Reese and I were having a bit of a discussion during the break and thinking that if the fallout, it might be worth the gamble for some people. So going to have to watch his lap times. He's in the middle of a fairly sizable battle with Cracknell and Richard Alwood. But I want to check in on him as the battles go on, just to see exactly what it means.
All right, guys. Mitchell McLeod just heading down pit road right now, deciding it's time to get the stop in here on lap number 12. Mitchell McLeod goes in, takes the road cone with him. This is such a tough pit road entrance, guys. I don't think we stated that enough earlier. One of the toughest pit entries that we go to anywhere.
Another fantastic battle on track between Cattell and Stenberg. Both guys have gone and ventured through the pit lane and come out together on track, and Cattell's applying plenty of pressure to Stenberg at the moment.
And also just to update people on what's been happening through the pit cycles, Curtis Chipaway has just moved past Ian Ford. So Curtis is the first driver to have made a fuel stop, and he is in now position 11 on the road.
Guys, we got a car off track. It's Jason Dickinson in the high-tech oils machine. He gets off track.
Oh, there's still a bit of push and shove back there. Tobias Cerny trying to get by as well.
Side-by-side action right now with Hayden Dodden and Jason Dixon. It's close side-by-side action. Looks like Jason Dixon may have the move on him. He does. Now this pass actually is not for position, but side-by-side, literally paint scraping, even. And that's the kind of racing we got going on.
And whilst that was happening, race leader Richard Hampstead has ducked into the pits to grab a splash of fuel. Hampstead out and away, 10.6 second stop. Sean Kelly out just behind him. So Hampstead takes the service. Chad Chastain is going to assume the lead of the race. So he leads for the second time tonight. Michael Fulcher second on the road. Heath Brennan in third. So it looks like all but the top 7 have made a pit stop. And
right,
Chastain pits from the lead.
Chastain comes into the pits.
We were all on that one, guys. Here he
Goodness
comes.
me.
So going to want to check the time because Hampstead's time was a 10.6 and I've just lost him on my timing. Is he still running? Sorry, yep, must have just lost him for a sec there. But Hampstead's time was a 10.6 second stop. He's final turn now. It's going to be Chad Chastain still up on the jacks.
Yeah, he's definitely going to come out in front. Richard Hampstead will resume the lead, presuming.
Chastain is down and away. He was about a second quicker, but not enough as Hampstead resumes the lead of the race. We are lap 14 of 30. Hampstead is our effective race leader, but it's Michael Fulcher, John Latham, Brad Smith, Craig Jones, Heath Brennan and Todd Parks, 1st through 6th, still to pit. Going to have to watch and see if they're rolling the dice to play the strategy game, because Fulcher's got a big lead, 10.8 seconds over second place John Latham, but of course he hasn't made a pit stop.
Now, guys, before the pit stops, it has been Michael Fulcher and Mitchell McLeod. They both were in fantastic battles all the way through the beginning of this race. It was literally the battle for 4th place before Mitchell McLeod went into the pits to get his pit stop underway. It'll be very interesting to see how things work as soon as Fulcher his pit stop.
But of course, very curious to see if he does indeed make a pit stop. There's a bit of talk of people wanting to try and make it the whole way. Wanting to know if that eventuates or if it was just perhaps a bit of spin. We won't find out until it actually happens. But of course, as things stand right now, the top 5 on the road have not made a pit stop. It's Richard Hampstead, who we expect to be our effective race leader. He's got 2.5 seconds separating himself and Chad Chastain, with Sean Kelly being the 3rd driver in line to have pitted.
You see, boys, it's moments like right now when we love our in-race reporter, Reese Gardner. This is why we love him right here. He gets all the inside scoop and lets us know so we don't have to wonder so much.
I'm feeling all the warm and fuzzies right now.
Hey, the guys back half of the top 5, Heath Brennan, Todd Parks and Craig Jones there. This is a very willing little battle. These guys running 3rd, 4th and 5th, yet to have made a stop, and it's Jones who's leading them over the flip-flop. Brennan is looking very, very racy behind, and race leader Richard Hampstead is going to have to watch out, because this is an angry little pack of cars. It looks like you're going to have... Oh, there's that pit entry. There's nearly a collision there between Jones and Brennan. It's Brennan who continues on. Hampstead, his life is going to be made a little bit easier. He's now just got 1 car to pass instead of 3. But Michael Fulcher still continues on. 10-second lead over John Latham. 25 seconds clear of Heath Brennan and Richard Hampstead.
You know, boys, if you're Michael Fulcher right now and you see that distance, it kind of encourages you to maybe try to stay out. And maybe he does try to make this field run.
Or, of course, the other thing that he and his team could be doing, you cast your eyes back to Curtis Chipaway, Tony Autry and Ford, Jared Filsell. That is an angry little pack of cars. They're going to be slowing each other up. A perfectly suitable strategy for Fulcher to stay out, run hard, and try and gap these boys in the pits as they continue to dice and cost themselves time.
Yeah, because honestly, it doesn't look like Fulcher's been doing much fuel at all. It looks to me like he's pushing on. And so I don't imagine he would try to say race the way he's been running.
Oh, we'll see. But Bo Cattell trying to put the move on Kurt Stenberg. Very awkward Pitter Road. Coming up to the flip-flop now. You might think about a dive down into the final turn. Can't quite get it done. But Cattell has been on a charge. Finds himself in the 16th position after starting way back in 31st on the grid. Really turning up a show for us the second race.
All right, coming around final turn right now is Michael Fulcher. It's want to wonder if he's going to pop down into pit road this time. But guys, it looks like he is not going to do it. He'll stay out, and so the wondering continues.
Definitely keep an eye on that, but man, keeping an eye on the stewards. Reese has got some news. We're going to keep an eye on a battle on track, though. Jared Filsell is really putting the pressure on Ian Ford. But let us know what you found in the pits there, Reese.
Yeah, guys, I was watching Hayden Dodman a couple of laps ago, lap 14, and as he pulled out of the pits, he just pulled over to the gravel trap outside turn 1 and escaped back to the garage. So I was wondering what the go was with that, and the stewards then messaged me that R74 Jason Dixon has been given a drive-through penalty for hitting Hayden Dodman. So that's an incident and penalty for Jason Dixon.
Well, there we go. Busy job up in the stewards' office, especially what we've seen tonight. Thankfully, the second race hasn't seen any of those big incidents that really highlighted the first race, but still busy because there's a lot of action, a lot of cars on track, and I still can't take my eyes off Phil Sell Ford as Ford gets big time sideways over the bridge. Curtis Chipway a bit of breathing room, but you think that Phil Sell's going to really try for a dive. He's got Martin Carroll behind him to keep him honest as well.
Also, Michael Fulcher is staying out, guys. It is lap 19 of 30. I don't see him going in, guys. I think he may be staying out.
Well, with that in mind, 19 laps complete. The other man who's on the same strategy perhaps is John Latham. John Latham is second position on the road, and his lap times are about the same as Michael Fulcher's. He's 9 seconds down, but he's also about 14 seconds clear first to stop Richard Hampstead. So the key thing is going to see if these boys can make the fuel stretch, and if they can hold, well, for Latham a 14-second gap, for Fulcher it's 24 seconds. They've only got 10 laps till home.
Oh, a car nails the wall, guys, and that is going to actually be, was that Craig Jones? It was. That was Craig Jones, nailed the inside retaining wall.
Oh, sorry, Fulcher. Sorry, not Fulcher. Ford and Phil Sell are still side by side. Side by side, Higgin into the left-hander. Martin Carroll is there. Mitch McLeod is there as well. McLeod and Carroll going to be side by side. Everyone gets single file for the flip-flop. Geez, that was some intense stuff. McLeod has a big sideways moment as he tries to get a move done on Martin Carroll. Side by side, not going to happen in the final turn. They're going to head down the main straight once again. This battle pack is Ford in 8th, Phil Sell 9th, Carroll in 10th, and McLeod in 11th. And they are really turning it up for this fight for the bottom half of the top 10.
All right, guys, lap 21, fixing the start of 30 total laps here. It makes you start to think that these fuel savers, John Latham and Michael Fulcher, can get it done. And the second that I say that, Michael Fulcher heads down pit road.
Clearly the numbers weren't working out for him. The important thing to see here with 10 laps remaining is where he comes out. John Latham is going to continue by and take the race lead. Probably just going to grab a splash, but I hope that if he's going to pit, he hasn't been saving, because if he has been driving at a slower pace than he could, it's going to cost him big time.
Yeah, his last lap time before this, I mean, it's around a 108, 108.4, I believe it was. So a little bit slower than, but he's on those older tires, so we'll see how things go for him. He's already off the jacks. Wheels are spinning. He's exited pit road right now,
he's going to be right behind that battle pack wheel, watching Ian Ford, Phil Sell, Carroll, McLeod. So he's going to rejoin in the 11th position, Michael Fulcher. So he's dropped from 5th to 11th. You'd call that a perhaps not the right move at this point. So laps remaining, anything can happen, especially when you've got, you can see 6th place, Curtis Chipaway ahead of him up the road.
Well, boys, John Latham, the car that has not pitted, and he is the official leader of this race. What will his plan be? Very interested to see what he's going to do this time. Maybe it looks like nope, he's going to skip pit road, guys, so he's going to stay out. We may see John Latham try this.
Latham is running 1 second slower than Richard Hampstead. His lap times, I think that Latham is fuel saving. I think that he's committed to that strategy from the start, and I'm looking at that at his lap times there, because Latham's fastest lap is it's 1.3 seconds slower than Hampstead's. Latham's fastest lap is the same as what Hampstead's turning right now, and John Latham isn't a slow driver. So he's got plenty of pace in him, but I think that he's probably trying to run that strategy from the start, because he's definitely running consistent lap times. I think he's dialed that in.
I think he's fuel saving too. Let's look at Jared Philsell, guys. He's in a side-by-side action. Let's check in on that. He's currently in 8th place side by side at the moment. Down on the inside, it looks like Ian Ford's got him, but behind him it's Marty Carroll. 3-car battle, and here comes Marty Carroll. Maybe he'll try to make a move on the inside of the Tag Best Management Machine. No, he will not. Now the Tag Best Management Machine may try to move up to the number 15 car of Ian Ford. 3-car battle for position, guys. Here comes Phil Sell on the inside, and he's got a good run. Let's see if it'll stick, boys, as he comes around the final turn, or a few turns here at Oran Park.
Wow, that was a bold move by Phil Sell. We've seen him side by side at that part of the road before, and Martin Carroll going to try and capitalise at the final turn. Carroll's looking pretty good, but we've seen people get a good drive off, but watch Mitch McLeod. McLeod's going to be the one with the best run through the last corner. Ian Ford does manage to slide across and claim the position, so Phil Sell finally takes 6th place from Ian Ford.
And
Carroll.
John Latham is not fuel saving. He has went down pit road, making his way back out to rejoin the field, and he'll come out right behind Michael Cracknell and Nigel Baines.
Well, there we go. The question has been answered. And no, you can't make it on 45 litres. I do reckon that Latham and Fulcher must have given it a red-hot go because they've cost themselves a fair bit of track position. But what we do know now is that Richard Hampstead is our race leader with a 3.5-second gap back to Chad Chastain. It's Sean Kelly who's in 3rd. Tony Orchard's in the 4th position, and then we turn back to that battle pack we've been watching just before. Curtis Chipway a bit further up the road, but Phil Sell, Ford, Carroll, McLeod, and Michael Fulcher is going to be a part of that train in just a couple of seconds, I expect. This is the fight from 5th all the way down to 10th, boys, and it is heating up.
And boys, don't forget, here we are, leader on lap number 24 of 30. Not a lot of time left. You've got to start trying to make your moves now. If you're in a heated battle, you've got to get around the guy.
Marty Carroll drops off the road. He loses a position to McLeod, loses a position to Fulcher.
Guys, that's about the 4th car we've seen do that at that exact spot. Craig Jones also just now rejoining the track after some troubles for him. Oh, good racing right now behind Lee Ellis, and Kurt Stenberg had a great run going behind him. And it is just a train of cars with Kurt Stenberg in Hamilton and Nigel. Lee Ellis leading that pack at the moment, and a good run from Lee. He's trying to move up just a little bit there. He'd love a little more breathing room from this angry pack.
Yeah, it's great. 5-car trains, pretty well line astern on the track. 5th down through 10th and 11th down through 16th. I want to keep an eye on John Latham's pace because, of course, he is the last driver to stop in the race. 6 laps remain.
Yeah, he's got those super fresh tires, boys. Last lap for him, a 108.061. We compare that to our leaders last lap time, and it was a 107.53, so about 5/10 faster for Richard Hampstead, your race leader right now, on a little bit older tire. You know, what has really impressed me this race, guys, is Curtis Chipaway. What a rebound for him. He's running in the 5th position at the moment, has no traffic around him. He can just run his race, and hopefully he'll cap off at top 5 after his misfortunes in race 1 in that bright green machine. Now, he does have Jared Filsell coming up very quickly in the rear. Last lap time for Jared Filsell, 108, almost flat. Now under that, he's in the 107s. We look ahead, Curtis' last lap was almost a 109. So Jared Filsell running him down pretty quickly, and still plenty of time. Here he is, he's almost actually within a car length now, and we got us some battles.
Absolutely, 1 second gain on that last lap is huge. Filsell is coming on very strong at the end of the race. And you're absolutely right about Curtis Chipaway. He was looking for result in the first race. It all went wrong very early on, but that green Falcon with the proud Canadian flag on the roof is coming back strong. But I think he's going to be having his hands full if he wants to hold on to the top 5. Filsell has been carving through the field on his charge, and the next car in his sights is Curtis Chipaway.
Yeah, right now the Purple Chickens trying to hold up, the tag pest management machine of Phil Sell, trying to find some daylight to maybe make a move around Chipaway. Not right now, boys. Still plenty of time to make that happen as close as he is.
And just behind that as well, Ian Ford has Mitch McLeod for company. McLeod looks like he's carrying a bit of pace over the Ian Ford Demidov machine. And we've seen that these two aren't scared to turn it up either. So there's a couple of battle packs that are forming, little 2-car breakaways. Still got that big 6 or 7 car train from Ellis all the way down to Latham.
And boys, we also have teammates going at it a little bit. Sean Kelly in third right now. Maybe a little battle, for a fun, friendly battle for a podium between Tony Attridge and Sean Kelly, maybe.
I'm going to have to watch that one. I know that Orchard's got a bit of a gap. So I think that he's going to be hungry. He's probably going to think about a move. Going to be great to watch that one. But keeping my eye on McLeod and Ford, and just up the road, Phil Sell and Chipaway, this is quickly turning into two very willing little battles on the track. Phil Sell's putting huge pressure through this part of the track, and then just a bit behind, it's the first part of the track where McLeod is all over Ford.
Yeah, Mitchell McLeod battle very closely. That torque Ford Falcon right there, about to make a jump there on Ian Ford, but not going to happen this time as the back end gets a little loose. And now here comes Phil Sell as he's going to try to get up on Curtis Chipaway as the cars race heavily down into turn one. It's just both cars searching for grip, and beautiful job right there from Jared Phil Sell. Very nice.
Well, there's a little bit of Morse code on the bumper at turn 2, and has a big dive at turn 3. McLeod's going to be side by side at the apex of 3 with Ian Ford. He's going to claim the position. He's got the preferred line for turn 4, and that moves Mitch McLeod up into the 7th position. If he can keep clear of Ford, he's going to have his sights set on this battle for 5th with Phil Sell and Chipaway. So it could quickly close up to be a 3-car fight, and if Ford continues on, maybe even a 4-car fight.
All right, boys, right now it is the number 28 car, Richard Hampstead, coming across the start-finish line. He starts lap 29 the next time by. The white flag will be waving in the air.
Just really impressed by the way this field is held together. Phil Sell is trying to out-drag Chipaway down into turn 1. Lap. He's there. He's going to have the inside line into turn 1. Very tricky place to run side by side through. He's going to have to leave racing room. It's hard to go around the outside, and he shuts the door on Curtis Chipaway. Chipaway thought about trying to hang it out there and have a run into turn 3, but couldn't get it done, and he's now going to be McLeod. Great piece of driving there by Jared Phil Sell. Set that up at the final turn, ran side by side down the front straight, and he moves himself up into the top 5.
All right, boys, here it is. Richard Hampstead making his way around the final 2 turns here at Oran Park. The white flag is in the air as we start lap 30 of 30. This is it. Time to go.
And no one can take away the drive that Richard Hampstead has put on. It has been a fantastic effort that he's been able to show tonight. But of course, there's still a lot of battles that are still to sort themselves out in this final 2 kilometers of racing. Going to try and cover it all, but there's cars everywhere, no matter where you look. Chipaway is going to be under massive pressure. It looks like Chastain has got second well sewn up. And Chipaway spins off at turn 2. Chipaway is off and in the dirt.
Oh,
he drops 2, 3, 4 positions there. He's going to rejoin in the 9th spot. But that, I think he just dropped a wheel off at the exit of turn 1, which sent him spinning. But just behind that, there's big pressure down on into turn 3. Looks like that's Aaron Hamilton. Nigel Baines side by side at turn 3. You're also going to have Cracknell try and join in on that as well.
All right, boys, here it is coming around for the final time. And well-deserved back-to-back wins here at Oran Park. Richard Hampstead takes the sweep at Oran Park.
And that is going to cap off a truly electric night of racing here at Oran Park. There's still battles going on throughout the track. Want to look back at who have we got there? Aaron Hamilton, Michael Cracknell and John Latham. They're going to be dicing right down to the final turn. That's a big, big dive into the final corner. There's going to be a bit of door-to-door action, bit of contact, and Latham's going to take the 2 positions as you got Cracknell and Hamilton spinning inside of the checkers.
Wow.
Unbelievable stuff. These boys were looking at nearly a top 10 finishing position.
Are you
Off
serious?
into the infield they go. Unbelievable. That was a massive dive by Michael Cracknell. He stuck it up the inside. Looked like they were going to have a beautiful drag, but it just all went wrong on the exit.
Tough break right there, boys. And what a win there from Richard Hampstead. Great day as well from Chad Chastain. 2 second-place finishes for the American driver. Sean Kelly is another good result from him as well, boys. So good racing all around. Jared Filsell did a good job as well, guys. Remember, he fell all the way down to 9th place at one point. He'll end up finishing with that top 5.
Absolutely. It was really a night of pressure for everyone here, and it wasn't due to anything to do with the track or with strategy. It was just pure intense motor racing. 2 sprint races at Oran Park, and this is exactly the thing that we came here to watch.
Can we do it again?
Go for 3. Hey, well, we've got Phillip Island coming up, and then of course the big one is going to be the Bathurst 1000 event here to clock off the final round in the Online Premier Series. Not long to go till we get to that one, but still a lot to wrap up from tonight.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. The inaugural Premier Online Series season, fantastic. It has been so far. This race today was very special here at Oran Park. We saw some incredible racing, tons of 3-wide action, guys, that I did not think we would see. I once, maybe twice. We saw it a lot. We saw it at least 10 times today. 3-wide, multiple times on this small track. These V8s cars went to town. Incredible driving from literally everybody on the track. I know a few drivers had unfortunate events happen, but a lot really making some statements today. Michael Fulcher made a big statement in race 1. Had a good race here in race 2, but I believe, guys, in the long run, him trying to save for fuel may have hurt him. He finished with an 8th place finish, but he did lose a lot of track position on that time when he tried to save that fuel.
Yeah, there was a lot of movement the whole run there from everyone through the field, and I think that everywhere we looked, we saw a bit of action, a bit of overtaking, a lot of passing and repassing, so it was, I think, perhaps for me, one of the most exciting, well, 2 of the most exciting races that I've ever seen at Oran Park, and when you count the development series race, JD, because I don't think that any of this could have been any better than what we got.
Oh, you're absolutely right. The development series drivers, we don't give them credit enough. They performed just an unbelievable performance by the entire field. The development race was perfect, about as good as you could ask for. Then we go into race 1, guys. Tons of action. Literally don't have room to breathe because the entire race is literally bumper to bumper, battle to battle, fist to fist. Unbelievable action. And we carry it on right into race 2. And that is 3 outstanding races here at Oran Park. I don't think the fans were disappointed with this one, guys.
Absolutely not, JD. So we should take this opportunity to run through the official results from race 2, round 5 of the Online Premier Series. It's Richard Hampstead who takes another race win and a fantastic drive to clock off the victory. Chad Chastain in second, and it's Sean Kelly rounding out the podium. Got to be happy with that result. Tony Autridge in 4th, Jared Filsell 5th position, Mitch McLeod in 6th, Ian Ford in 7th, with Michael Fulcher in 8th, Lee Ellis in 9th, and Kurt Stenberg in the 10th position.
Well, in 11th, it was Curtis Chipaway. John Latham took 12th. 13th went to Nigel Baines, while 14th place was Bo Cattell, which was fantastic considering he started in the 31st spot on the grid. In 15th tonight, it was Brad Smith with in the DeWalt scheme right there in 16th. In 17th, it was Matthew Hill. In 18th, Aaron Hamilton, Michael 18th, and Richard Elward rounding out our top 20.
21st position claimed by Todd Parks from Heath Brennan and Mark Warmington. Some big battles these boys were involved in. Kane Kugamiya makes a great drive in the Premier Series after making a strong showing in the development last week at Donington. Martin Carroll brought it home in 25th, but was probably going to be a bit further up were it not for some incidents. Sam Compton 26th, Dale Nish 27th, Jason Dixon in 28th, then Craig Jones, Bobby Jovanovic, and Hayden Dodman all came home with a couple of dramas. But as you said, JD, I think it was a fantastic way to cap off a night of racing here at Oran Park. And for the first series of the online Premiere Series, where we want to check out things and have a bit of a learning experience, all the different formats and that they've thrown up, I think have really been successful. There's a lot that the OSR boys will take in to consideration and a lot that they'll learn from. So when we come back for the next season, it's going to be even bigger and better.
Oh, first of all, I'm 100%. Think you're 100. You're right on the money on that one. These guys worked so hard to make this series what it is, and this is just the inaugural season. And you know that improvements will be made, so of course it'll get better. But what we've seen so far, I don't think anybody could have expected it would have turned out as great or as well as it has to this point. I have truly been impressed and enjoyed every minute of this Premiere Series, and I think that the best is still yet to come. I really do. So we thank everybody, all the viewers that come in and watch every other week when we have this broadcast. Thank you guys very much. I know that the drivers love it. The talent out there is just unbelievable. It's the best that the sim racing world has to offer, as you know, and they showed that. That's exactly what they showed here tonight.
Absolutely. Putting on a show for everybody. It's exactly what we wanted to see. And we've got some of those drivers joining us here for a bit of a chat after the race. And we'll say congratulations and thanks for joining us to Richard Hampstead. 2 wins tonight, but Richard, certainly wasn't easy for you. How was it out there?
Yeah, it was pretty tricky in the first race. Chad just got me in the quali session with a great lap, so had to slow him down and pass him in the race. Yeah, that was a good battle. Chad was really fair, left plenty of racing room and stuff. That was good. And the second race wasn't quite so difficult. Got pole that time, got a really good start, and it was just about managing the tyres and the gap.
Well, you certainly did that well. But that first race of the night was perhaps certainly the biggest challenge that you've seen in the last couple of weeks. It was brilliant fun to watch and really turned it up there for us all. So you got to be looking forward now to Phillip Island and perhaps the challenges that you'll be facing at that one, Richard.
Yeah, well, I really like Phillip Island as a track, and I've always seemed to do relatively well there. So yeah, looking forward to that.
And what do you reckon in regards to the different formats that we've seen through this season? Some people like shorter races, some like the longer ones. Double headers, a new thing for us, well, of course. So what's your take on it all? A particular favourite, or you just like the mix that we've got together here for it?
Yeah, I like the variety. So the best races are the ones with probably just one pit stop. I think maybe if this race was a little bit longer and maybe there was a bit of tyre strategy, it would be a little bit better. But yeah, I like the variety. So.
Well, there we go. And it also looked like in that first one, strategy, the time drop off. So I was watching your lap times there, and I think there was one point you were a whole second and a half slower over the course of the run. Of course, 30 laps and no pit stops is really making them last. But was it hard out there towards the end of a stint? Was the car really struggling to put its power down?
Yeah, definitely. The retires really go off a lot at Oran Park. So I mean, both races I went in with the mindset of making them last for the whole 30. I think I did a reasonably good job of that.
Well, mate, with 2 wins, I certainly think that reasonably good is certainly on the money there. Perhaps even a bit of an understatement. So we'll let you enjoy the victory, and hopefully you'll be looking forward to the next one, as I know we certainly are. And thanks again for joining us.
And thanks a lot, Richard Hampstead. Fantastic from him tonight. What a performance. Also tonight, took the pole there in the start race, and a surprise right there was Chad Chastain. Fantastic performance by him tonight. He gave Richard Hampstead a good run for his money in race 1 and battled for 2 second place finishes. Chad, well, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm outstanding, JD. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. You know, we wouldn't have it any other way. I get a chance to see you run, Chad, quite a good bit in the Americas Series, and but some people may not get to see you run quite as much. And but even as much as I've get to see you over the past 2-3 weeks, the amount of improvement that I have seen from your speed and things, it is like we're seeing the old Chad Chastain. I want to say that, but you're actually looking faster than that. So tell me a little bit about what's been going on with you in your preparations and getting back on top of your game.
Well, it's just a lot of hours behind the wheel, and apparently no social life. you know, you know, all the guys at SDC Motorsports and Kamikaze Race Team, we put a lot of time in these, and I think we've hit on a couple of different setups that work in different weather conditions, and then it's just turning laps. And yeah, I really I'm frankly surprised at my pace and relative to the field, and couldn't be happier. I mean, we put in a lot of hard work and it's paying off, and I'm very happy for the whole team and the alliance.
Yeah, the SDC team, SDC Motorsports, has done a phenomenal coming in to exist in a really new team, and you guys have made quite the mark. But Chad, I do want to know, or do want to tell you, I had the biggest credit in the world. I was happy to see that out of all these wonderful Australians that are so fast, it's amazing. I had to be excited that you took the pole there. I said, an American on the pole, who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, it's funny, I'm I'm watching the relative, and I'm like, holy cow, and yeah, okay, hit the line, and yeah, I said, well, I'm one of the fastest Americans. Hell, I think I'm one of 2 Americans that run it. So
that's right.
Very, very, very happy. The weight of a nation, right?
That's right, buddy. That was a whale of a lap, and very much for coming by and having a chat with you. And just keep this thing up. We'll be looking forward to some results from you in 2 weeks' time when we head to the Phillip Island. I cannot wait. That place is legendary. I know that you enjoy the track as well. Best of luck to you, Chad.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, looking forward to putting the simpit.com Falcon up near the pointy end of the spear in the future. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely.
And that sounds like an awesome feeling, just watching that turn, watching your lap coming out that final turn, and knowing it's going to be a good one. That's got to feel awesome. But standing on the podium's got to feel great as well. And third position and final spot on the podium did go to Sean Kelly. Sean, it was a pretty intense night of racing out there, and how did you find it all?
Hey guys, how are you? Yeah, sure was, wasn't it? First race had a lot of fun, had an awesome race on battle with Michael Fulcher, and yeah, it's just great. Yeah, it's great to have a nice long battle the whole race, and yeah, couldn't get him. Car was a major handful. Pace wasn't too bad, but yeah, I've tuned up the car a little bit for the second race, and yeah, all went pretty okay. Lost a few seconds as back markers come out fighting for their own race, and then yeah, pitted, fueled up, and yeah, had a late race spin unfortunately, and it seems like Chad was had short fuel and was saving fuel towards the end, so there's a lost opportunity to get second there. But yeah, huge congrats to Hammer, and awesome job by Chad. I'm not surprised at his speed. I know last season he just kept on returning throughout the night with more and more speed, so it's good to see him turn up and getting the job done. So yeah, great racing by all, and thanks to Hybrid, and thanks everyone.
Great show out there, and certainly sounds like even though your hands were tied a bit from perhaps an ill-handling car, it was certainly an exciting thing to watch. But those battles out there, that you mentioned getting involved in, seemed like, I know Oran Park's just a bit of the nature of the track, but it seemed like everywhere we looked there was some serious fights. And JD mentioned as well that he doesn't think that he'd ever seen so much 3 wide at this place. But this sort of field, the class of this field, how good does it feel to be racing in some of those sort of situations?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you can trust everyone to go 2 wide, and you always try and avoid 3 wide, and especially this has been a bit of a bogey track for me, so nice to sort of turn it around. And yes, that's always so much fun. The track is a lot of hard work, so it's all about just trying to keep that intensity and pressure up on other guys. And unfortunately, I don't really make too many mistakes. So yes, certainly got our work cut out for us.
Well, mate, a podium at a bogey track, something you certainly got to be happy you enjoy that. And we'll be talking to you again, hopefully next time at Phillip Island.
Cheers.
Absolutely. Sean Kelly, fantastic performance tonight. Another good performance tonight that maybe we didn't give quite enough credit was a driver in Bo Cattell. I want to bring him in next and have a word with him. Bo, welcome to the show. Before we even get started, buddy, I just want to point out what a phenomenal job. Both races starting in the 31st spot on the grid, moving your way up through the field. Tell me a little bit about how it was in a track that is so congested and so hard to make passes on. How were you able to move up through the field so well?
Yeah, it was pretty scary. It's a boys racing in the series really because obviously I had a little bit more car speed than a few of them due to not being able to quali, but yeah, really a credit to them for not making mistakes and leaving room and being clean because it was really, really, really enjoyable and yeah, it was definitely hectic.
Well, when we look back, I wasn't sure why we saw you starting in the 31st spot. You want to tell us a little bit about what happened with qualifying?
Yeah, did the first couple of laps and a few of the boys were saying that they saw me flashing, and then I looked at my connection and my ping and it was like 800, so I quickly tried to jump out and get my phone tethering as a modem, and I only just got it working before the race, so yeah, I had to start from the back.
Well, I tell you what, I know it's always terrible when we have internet problems. It's something that none of us can control. But, man, what a fantastic job tonight, man. For you to start in the 31st position on the grid in both races, and then in race 2, you worked your way all the way up to 14th place finish. Very nice job, Bo.
Thanks, JD. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Now, Bo, as we head out next, or in our next race week here in the Premier Series to Phillip Island, what is some things that you're going to take with you out there to try to get up in that top 5?
I'm going to have to try and put a few because I've sort of lost it with this car a little bit, and last couple of weeks I've had a slightly bit more luck, so I'll just have to really put in the hours and see where I can get. I'm definitely a long way off the podium, but if I keep working away at it, see what happens.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much, Bo. Fantastic performance, considering, and best of luck to you in 2 weeks, man.
Cheers.
All right, that's Bo Cattell, everybody, and think next, my good buddy Leo, take it away.
We've got Jared Filsell joining us here. 5th place rounds out the second race for Jared Filsell. Had a chat to you after the first race, buddy, with a podium. And a 5th place, some dramas early, but man, that charge through the field at the end was impressive.
Yeah, definitely. I got a really good start. Chad left me just a little bit of room, but I decided to pull out of it. Otherwise, that just would have ended up in the whole field probably getting taken out. So yeah, I actually got an update come up on my computer and my screens just went black, so I had no idea where I was. So I just slammed on the. Pretty lucky to not put it in the fence even harder than I did, to be honest.
Yeah, unfortunate sort of situation with that. But you mentioned that start. That was some intense stuff. You did get the jump, but 3 wide down into turn 1 at Oran Park is a pretty scary moment. But of course, cooler heads prevail, and you were able to bring it home. But that fighting throughout the second half of the race was very impressive. I think, what was it, 9th on the track, and to cut through some very high quality drivers and bring yourself home in 5th place. It was exciting to watch, and I hope you enjoyed doing it, mate. But what was it like out there for you?
A lot more intense than my last race, that's for sure. I wasn't too happy being stuck behind Ian, but yeah, that's just me making mistakes and whatnot. But yeah, my car was an absolute rocket after the pit stop, and I knew I had fuel to go to the end, and I wasn't sure whether people in front had fuel to save or whatnot. I had no idea what was going on. I was just trying to get in front of as many people as I could.
Yeah, and it seems like some of that talk before the race might have just been a bit of spin because, as you would have noticed, nobody made it on fuel. Everyone did have to make at least a stop, so clearly that was your strategy the whole way, and obviously it was the right one in terms of making it the distance.
Yep, definitely. I actually took rear tyres. I'm not sure if any others took that or not, but yeah, the car was pretty average about 3 laps after the stop, and then once the rears kind of died down a little bit, the car was just, yeah, awesome. But yeah, it was a good battle with Ian and Curtis as well. It was good fun.
Well, mate, sounds like you got a lot of positives to take out to the next round at Phillip Island, which I know we're very much looking forward to here at V8s Online, and I'm sure you are too. So we'll let you enjoy the rest of the night and look forward to Phillip Island.
Cheers.
Absolutely, man. Best of luck, Jared. Great job. And next, let's bring in a guy that with Jared Phil Cell tonight. Let's bring in Ian Ford. Ian, welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys. Be here again.
Oh, fantastic. We are so happy to have you here, Ian. What a performance tonight. Race 1, and then let's just look at race 2 for a second. And we look at where you started. You started on 10th spot on the grid, and you worked your way up to a 7th place finish. Fantastic performance, great battles. Just tell me a little bit what it was like battling with these so closely.
It was very. I had to really pick where I was braking, where I was getting on the throttle and everything, because I pitted a lap early, and I had about half a lap to save, and I'd let them close in on braking and just pray to God that I could house. Jared got up the inside of me at one point, and I just tried and managed to keep ahead for about another lap or two, and then he the new tyres and everything. Just had to keep on fuel saving until the end. I finished with I think.
Wow. Well, I tell you what, my next question is, we looked at before the race started here in race 2, we knew that it was going to be a really hard stretch for some people to fuel save. What was your original fuel strategy, and did it not change after you got out on the track and things started running?
My fuel strategy was pretty simple. Just run flat out, put enough fuel to make it to the end and just either pit early if I was getting held up or pit late if I space. And in the end, I just went, I'll pit in early, because there'll be clear space in the middle of nowhere, and that happened. Overtook about 5 guys, and then it all started falling to pieces as I fuel saved.
Well, it was a beautiful race out there. Looked like the strategy paid out just fine, and a great result. We're really looking forward to seeing how this great journey as we head out to Phillip Island in 2 weeks. Tell me a little bit about your experience with Phillip Island and what kind of track it is to you.
Really a love-hate sort of relationship there. I don't think I've got the pace around the faster corners, but, I can dive on the brakes, decent traction out of a car, so I should hold my own for the second half of the lap, but the fast-flying corners I think I may struggle a bit with.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite tracks, and but it does have its difficulties. It has a track that has a little bit of everything, and that's one of the reasons I really love it. But sometimes the reasons I like it as a spectator are not the same as you guys like as drivers. So best of luck to you, my friend. Looked really good tonight, and congratulations.
Thank you. We just need more of old flying circuits like Phillip Island on the calendar, I think.
I agree 100%, my friend. Maybe we can get the big wigs to hear that. I'm sure they're listening. All right. Well, best of luck. Congrats to Ian Ford there. Leo, I think you're going to take it away next.
Absolutely got Lee Ellis here with us. It's another strong top 10 for Lee Ellis in the number 18 car. But Lee must have had your hands full because you were in the middle of some very, very intense fighting out there. What was it like for you, buddy?
Stressful. First race was horrible. Had huge front end damage and couldn't even barely get into 6th gear on the straight. So that was sort of a write-off. I was pretty happy to finish 9th. And then second race, well, stressful again.
Well, Matt, I don't think they made this series for it to be easy for you. It was certainly fun for us to watch, and hopefully you can go back and watch the broadcast and see just because you really put on a show for us. There was some really intense racing that you were a part of and kept it all together in some real cut and thrust stuff. But that's really what we want to see. That's what we enjoy watching, and hopefully you can look back on it and go, yep, that stress was worth it, man, because that was really cool to watch.
Yeah, it usually is great to watch. It's just at the time I wish I was up more in the pointy end of the field and not stuck in a bit of traffic, but what can you do? Just need to focus on quality a bit more. Bring on the VF.
Yeah, everyone's looking forward to that, of course, but with the online Premier Series, still got 2 rounds left in this season for you to make that little bit of move up more to the front. Phillip Island or Mount Panorama, either one of those, calendar for being an opportunity to jump back closer to the top 5 or the podium.
Oh, that was pretty good. I got I would have had a good finish last season, but good old internet and Phillip Island. I personally hate. I seem to go half decent there, so they're both alright. Can't complain.
We're looking forward to it. I'm sure you'll be back. And as you said, the VF Commodore, that's going to be the big one for us here at V8s Online as the car of the future finally makes its way to iRacing, and that will be our car here for the V8s Online series and for the Online Premier series, and we're all looking forward to that.
Yeah, not wrong.
Absolutely. Good job out there on the track tonight, Lee. Fantastic performance, buddy.
Cheers, man.
All right,
Thanks,
man. Next, I got to bring in a car, or not a car, a driver, but a car that I've been dying to talk about. Tobias, everybody, welcome to the show. How are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, hello guys. I'm doing fine. I was caught a bit by surprise this morning that the race started a bit earlier, and just joined with 10 minutes to go in the practice session.
And what a job you did for such a short notice. The mental preparation for a race like this, when you have to rush, it can take away from it a little bit and make you have little jolts and mistakes. But all in all, a great performance tonight. But before we even talk about that fancy schmancy beautiful livery you had on the car tonight, that DeWalt livery, tell me a little bit about that one.
Well, there's nothing too big to tell about from my side. I just am having a team at the moment, no paint done on my own, so I just browsed the showroom on Trading Paints and found this beautiful livery created by Michael Schreier, and that's why I took it.
It is absolutely stunning. Michael Schreier did a fantastic job. The answer I was looking for was that I wanted to hear that you're the biggest Marcus Ambrose fan in the world, and you were hoping that that's going to be his livery. I'm a huge Ambrose fan, man, so I'm hoping that maybe he can have something similar to that. But it's just absolutely awesome. It looked good on the car, especially when you were in those side-by-side battles. Fantastic driving out there tonight. I missed you, Tobias. I don't get to see you quite as much as I once did when you were making frequent appearances in the Americas, but so good track tonight. Started in the second race in the 16th slot on the grid, moved up, moved down, moved back up a little bit, and finished in 16th. All in all, a decent run here at Oran Park. Tell me about it from your point of view.
The first race actually was quite good, even though I was on the outside of turn 2, 3, 4, and I lost a couple of places, but in the end I managed to get into the top 10 and had a short sniff at the 9th place, but Lee took it back there from me in the last lap. The race was pretty terrible. Started further ahead, but there was a tiny little crash, I would say, in turn 2, and I just, from my point of view, I thought the track was blocked on the inside, and I just drove around all the cars. But yeah, I realized later that I lost like 10 positions by doing so it wasn't a good idea. And I had to fight back from P27, something like this. So I'm pretty happy that I made it up to P16 again.
Yeah, that was really a fantastic run. I tell you what track are you most looking forward to with the remainder of this schedule here in the Premier Series?
Well, I'm not that much looking. Not that much looking forward to Phillip Island there, but yeah. So it will be Bathurst. I hope we'll be up to pace there. And also, being this an enduro would suit me more than the sprint round. So yeah, looking forward to this, and maybe yeah. I have no idea what. Depends on how much practice I do before what position I would reach.
Understandable, but Tobias, tell you what, buddy, just absolutely wonderful to be able to talk to you and to see you out there on the track, buddy. Come by and see us in the Americas real soon, and you're just doing an amazing job, buddy.
Yeah, no worries, JD, but the Americas is really difficult for me now and getting closer to the final stage of my studies, so who knows, we will see.
Understandable, but you know, it is 7 a.m. right now in the eastern United States. But you're the man. Tobias is awesome. Let's go back to Leo here as he's going to bring in Mark Warmington. Go ahead, Leo.
Yeah, we're certainly of the international flavour that we get here at V8s Online. Of course, yourself, JD Kane, and Tobias and the others. But we've also got Mark Warmington joining us from Club UK and I. Man, how good's the racing out there, Mark? And thanks for coming really all the way across the world to be a part of it. It must be worth your while, hey?
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. Like Tobias, though, I almost missed qualifying. I just completely got my times wrong and joined with about 20 minutes left to go. And I will say I'm most definitely punching above my weight, even hanging onto the back of these guys. The racing out there was phenomenal.
In a consistent contender in these top split races, getting yourself in the field, and you've been spending a lot of time in the V8 Supercar, and it's really shown for it because it's not always easy for people to come along and get themselves into a V8 Supercar race with the weird time zones for the rest of the world. But clearly it must be you must be right if you're able to get along and mix it with these big boys here. And how good is it? Part of it?
Oh, most definitely. Friends and family think I've got no life and that I'm a bit of a I spend ridiculous amounts of times just trying to get up to speed, and then it's first thing in the morning race here to get up for the practice. And I've thought about the Americas, but I think it's like 3-4 a.m. in the morning when the clocks change, so can't be doing with that. But the racing is intense. I don't think there's a car on the service that gives quite as much fun and such a challenge. So I'm loving it.
Absolutely. Well, that's our thoughts, mate. And I know that this Premiere Series is a bit of a new experience for everyone here that's putting it on, and for all the drivers as well. And what do you think of being a part of the experiment? And well, I think I already know the answer to will you be back for more? Because you probably will be. But how good is this, mate?
It's unbelievably amazing. I mean, the car, as I said, it's one of the first cars I bought when I joined the service, and it's been really difficult to consistently get into official races when you're an international driver, especially from Europe. So I used to watch all of the V8s Online's broadcasts for the Monday night race and just wished I could get in, but I'm working at that time. So by you guys shifting this to the Sunday, that's it. That's my life now is dedicated to trying to get into either the dev or the main grid for this race. So I hope it goes really well in 2:15.
Certainly, mate. We really like the effort that you put into it, and looking forward to seeing more of you throughout it as the future comes along. So I hope you're looking forward to Phillip Island and, of course, the big one at Bathurst, because that's going to be the perfect way to cap off this inaugural season.
Phillip Island and I don't really get along well, so I'll do whatever I can not to fall off the track at turn 1, and then just look. I'm looking forward to the mountain. I really love this car at Bathurst. It's just an immense race.
It's perfect, isn't it? Well, we'll let you get off with the rest of your day then, Mark. Thanks for joining us here in the comms box, and we're looking forward to the rest of the racing, and hopefully you're going to enjoy the races to come as well.
Yeah, thanks again, guys. Great broadcast, great series, and thanks everyone that gave me room on track.
Absolutely. And Mark, what a fantastic job, buddy. Just keep up the good work. We look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks' time.
Thanks, JD. Thanks, Leo and Kane. See you guys next week.
Absolutely. Well, Leo, that'll wrap up the interview session, and now maybe some final thoughts on what we had tonight. I thought this race, this event tonight, I can't say this race because we had 3 different in a qualifying session that all 3 were amazing. We look at the development series, Leo, and just truly an amazing performance. We go to a qualifying session where we get a last-second surprise from Chad Chastain that literally surprised us all. We had already announced our pole sitter, and then boom, it had all changed on us. And then race 1 and 2, just unbelievable in the main series. These guys, I swear, they just keep getting better and better.
Well, mate, you pretty well hit the nail on the head for my thoughts. It's, like I said, probably the most exciting racing that I have ever watched at Oran Park. It's I enjoy driving the circuit. I like racing the circuit, but I've never ever watched or been a part of racing I think that was that intense the whole way through. And what really highlights it for me is the consistency of it. It wasn't just a couple of scraps in the early stages or, something sort of forming after a pit stop. There were huge 3, 4, 5 car battles that went from lap 1 to lap 30, and I think that's the exact same sort of thing that we're trying to generate here with the Premiere Series, because it reminds me very much of you jump and watch a V8 Supercar race from, say, 2000, 2001, 2002 from Oran Park, and it feels like the same as what we've got here. And especially with the big fields, with the style of the racing, and I couldn't be turned out.
You know, Leo, I want to point something out real quick, based off of your comment right there. It's very funny that you mentioned that about the races really reminding you of the races in real world, because that's just how amazing our simulator is. I can't tell you how many times Kane and myself covered the NASCAR iRacing series this season, and the drivers, literally, we could watch them on Wednesday, and I'm telling you, whatever happened on that race Wednesday night was a mirror image of what happened in the real world counterpart that Sunday. It was almost scary. That's how realistic our sim is, and these guys that put in these hours are unbelievably talented, and I almost have no doubt in my mind that we could put some of these guys in real V8 cars and they problem adjusting, maybe a small adjustment period. But for the viewers out there, I just want you to know how talented these drivers are. If you've never had a chance to step in to the V8 Supercar on the iRacing simulator, then you have no idea the difficulty. I'm here to tell you, this is not a cakewalk. This is a very difficult beast, and these guys do an amazing job.
Couldn't have said it better myself, JD, and exactly the same thoughts here. So, of course, with all of that in mind, the big thanks got to go out to, of course, all the drivers involved, and even bigger thanks, of course, Kane, getting up and early every week to make this possible for us, to make this broadcast happen and to bring it to everybody watching at home. We hope you've all enjoyed it out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we close out, big thanks out to Kane so much, and a lot of guys I don't think they realize how much he does, and he does so much work behind the scenes, guys, and even all your cameras tonight that you saw, all your views, he does all this stuff behind without saying a word on this broadcast, but the guy just does a phenomenal job, and I hope he knows that it's just well appreciated, more than he'll ever know. So you guys all need to, if you're out there watching, make sure you let him know that. Also, if maybe you joined the broadcast late, please make sure you go back and watch it from the beginning. You are not going to be disappointed. We had an amazing show tonight. And that's all from me, Leo. I just can't wait for 2 more weeks, man. This series it just keeps getting better and better.
Not wrong there, JD. So just a reminder at home, 2 weeks' time, we'll be back at Phillip Island. Of course, a great classic and historic circuit in the Australian motorsport community. And not long after that, of course, the big one, the finale, we head to Mount Panorama. Don't need to give it any more introduction than that. It's the very, very best thing for this car, and everybody loves it. It's what we're all looking forward to. So to wrap up a great night of racing tonight, we'll say hats off once again to Richard Hampstead for another 2 race wins in the online Premier Series. But for me, the big winners is everyone involved in that awesome scrap of racing that we saw tonight, because it really turned it up for everybody here and for all the fans. We hope you enjoyed it. We look forward to seeing you in the online Premier Series next time out at Phillip Island. Join us at the same place, v8sonline.com.au. So thanks for joining us. Good night and goodbye for now.